Chapter 958. Faster. Faster. It's about to enter the Indian Ocean. The fighter jet flew quickly. The engine's power was already at its maximum, leaving behind a trail of fire as it flew like lightning. The Golden Horn B's speed was also very fast. The golden light seemed like it was going to tear the sky apart. At this time, all the satellites in the world were focused on this scene. Everyone's hearts were in their throats as they watched nervously. We have to stop it. Everyone clenched their fists and cheered in their hearts. Rumble. The fighter jet that soared through the sky drew a long rainbow. In the coastal waters of the Indian Ocean, before the golden-horned beast could dive into the water, it was finally stopped. Kill. The purple and green dual-colored blade, the black and cold spear, the lightning-flashing long blade, and the countless blade from Luo Feng's soaring shuttle fiercely attacked the golden-horned beast. Ow! The golden-horned beast, who was already furious, roared as it saw a few small bugs provoking it. Its entire body shone with a golden light, and its gigantic wings swept forward. Pung, pung, pung. The blade, spear, and countless blades all hit the golden-horned beast's wings, causing a series of explosions. The violent attacks made the golden-horned beast shake slightly. What made it furious was that the purple and green dual-colored blade actually cut open two gigantic wounds on its wings. How? The golden-horned beast was furious. As the most noble bloodline of the space beasts, it was actually injured by these ant-like bugs. The space beast, which was already filled with anger, suddenly went crazy. Its huge mouth with dense fangs opened. A deep black light circulated in its huge mouth. The space shook, and a huge suction force was produced. This was the golden-horned beast's swallowing ability. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The space formation shook violently. The black light spread out and covered an area of 1,000 meters, enveloping Lu Ziqing and the others in the swallowing light. Everyone who saw this scene through the satellite immediately exclaimed in shock. The golden-horned beast's swallowing ability was extremely terrifying. Even the huge alloy fortress outside the headquarters city was swallowed in one gulp. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers from the American continent had died because the golden-horned beast swallowed them along with the alloy fortress. This terrifying, devouring ability could even distort space. Once it was swallowed, it would be crushed by the violent space force. Even the alloy fortress had been shattered, let alone a human body. You want to eat? I'll let you eat to your heart's content. When the black light curtain enveloped them, Lu Ziqing and Hong waved their hands at the same time. Boom! The densely packed pile of metal was like a huge hill. How could he not be on guard against the golden-horned beast's swallowing ability? Lu Ziqing and Hong collected countless metal remains, including all kinds of metal waste collected from the ruins of the alien civilization. This mountain of metal remains was several times larger than the golden-horned beast. No matter how powerful the golden-horned beast's swallowing ability was, it couldn't swallow a metal mountain that was several times larger than itself. Woo! Golden-horned beast quickly stopped swallowing the mountain. The golden-horned beast shuddered and paused for a moment as he retracted his swallowing technique. Set up the formation, Lu Ziqing roared. He clasped his hands, and the purple and green blades revolved in front of him. Here it comes. Hong and Thunder God each took a step forward and stood behind Lu Ziqing. Their palms struck Lu Ziqing's back. Boom! A vast light soared into the sky. Lu Ziqing, Thunder God, and Hong were all glowing. This was the light of power. This was the light of the soul. This was the light of life. At this moment, all the power of the three was completely gathered together through the tripartite origin formation. Long before Luo Feng sent the laser cannon, the three were already prepared to fight the golden-horned beast. This tripartite mixed element formation was the method Lu Ziqing used to deal with the golden-horned beast. Min River Blade Formation, Blade Aura Long River. Combining the powers of the three, Lu Ziqing unleashed the strongest blade formation he could currently unleash. Boom! A vast and mighty river appeared in midair, with rolling waves that flowed endlessly. The water of the Yellow River came from the sky and flowed to the sea, The vast river rolled forward, never stopping. Tianshui energy cleansed the universe and the vast sky. What was surging wasn't water. It was a sword. The boundless sword light transformed into a vast and endless river. Sword raised like water, sword aura into a river. Slash! With a wave of his sword, the mighty river of swords slashed at the golden horned beast. Like the Milky Way, the river flowed down 3,000 feet. The vast river engulfed the world and drowned the golden horned beast. Ayo! A pitiful cry soared into the sky. Under the scouring of this vast river, the golden horned beast was like a snowman that fell into the river. It kept melting. Actually, it wasn't melting. It was being annihilated by the sword rays. Scales, flesh, bones, organs. This terrifying golden horned beast's gigantic body gradually dissipated under the scouring of the sword aura river. It finally turned into powder. When the sword aura river dispersed, the gigantic golden horned beast had disappeared without a trace. All that was left was a fist-sized crystal ball floating in mid-air. Victory! Victory! We won! At this moment, everyone in the world who saw this scene cried tears of joy and cheered. The entire world was in jubilation. Victory is good. Lu Ziqing, Thunder God, and Hong's faces were pale. They looked at each other and laughed loudly. Then, they all fell from midair. Seeing this scene, everyone in the world let out another cry of surprise. After defeating the enemy, the hero also fell. Big brother, second brother, Ziqing, Luo Feng let out a cry of surprise. He rushed forward and helped the three of them up. They didn't die. They just used up too much energy and fainted. They didn't die. Feeling the energy of the three, Luo Feng was overjoyed. He quickly called for the liquid silver guards and sent the three of them into the fighter jet. Whoa! Suddenly, the crystal ball left behind by the golden horned beast let out a trembling sound. Golden mist circulated and the figure of the golden horned beast slowly appeared in the mist. God, that demon actually didn't die? At this moment, everyone in the world was shocked silly. God, just how can they kill that demon? Right now, I'm the only one left. Taking in a deep breath, Luo Feng leaped into the air and charged towards the golden mist. Rumble! With a loud explosion, the mist exploded. The golden horned beast that appeared faintly disappeared. The dense fog of light had also disappeared. That terrifying demon had finally disappeared. However, Luo Feng also disappeared. Luo Feng, Jiangnan base. Su Xian saw this scene and let out a heart-wrenching scream. She spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. After putting in countless efforts, we defeated the demon. However, don't forget, it was their sacrifice that gave us the chance to survive. Please remember these names. Hong, Thunder God, Lu Ziqing, and our eternal hero, Luo Feng. Chapter 959. The Golden Horned Beast has a strange characteristic. That is, the Golden Horned Beast's life and soul is essentially that crystal ball. As long as the crystal ball called the core isn't destroyed, even if the body is destroyed, it can be revived. When Lu Ziqing used the Min River Blade formation to destroy the Golden Horned Beast's body, even though the Golden Horned Beast has been killed once, it can still be revived. This revival requires a huge amount of energy. It requires the talent space within the core to reconstruct a new body. In reality, this golden horned beast doesn't have the ability to reconstruct a new body. It doesn't have enough energy to revive itself. Under the repeated attacks, it used up a lot of energy to repair its body. After being destroyed by the blade, even its godly soul was heavily damaged, so it doesn't have the ability to revive. It showed a golden mist, but actually, it just wanted to escape. However, from Luo Feng's point of view, the golden horned beast has revived. After putting in so much effort, he still can't kill it? Luo Feng rushed forward without hesitation. Under Babada's reminder or persuasion, Luo Feng used the soul possession technique and destroyed the golden horned beast's godly soul. Luo Feng's godly soul was already injured by the blade, and with the inheritance imprint left by the master of Yun Mo planet, His spiritual energy exploded, and Luo Feng directly swallowed the golden horned beast's godly soul. After that, he was knocked out by the vast amount of information in the golden horned beast's godly soul. The moment the golden mist exploded, the crystal ball containing Luo Feng silently fell into the ocean. Ah! The intense pain in his head made Luo Feng want to rub his temples. The moment this thought appeared, Luo Feng shockingly realized that he couldn't feel his body anymore. Luo Feng was shocked. Congratulations, Luo Feng. You've received a huge opportunity. You've taken over the Golden Horn Beast, and now you have a universe's most elite space beast bloodline. Now, you are the Golden Horn Beast. Babata's voice resounded in his ears. Space beast? I've become a ball. Where's my original body? I want to return to my original body. Luo Feng's heart was filled with anxiety. He knew that after his accident, his family must have been in a mess. If he didn't hurry back, with Su Xian's temperament, who knew what would happen? If Su Xian were to commit suicide, the consequences would be unimaginable. After you possess the Golden Horn Beast, your original body automatically entered the Golden Horn Beast's internal space. But now, it had long since been decomposed. Where's the original body? What should I do then? Did he turn into a ball, just like that? Luo Feng was both shocked and anxious. Suddenly, a message entered Luo Feng's brain. Innate divine ability? Cloning technique. As long as I extract the genetic information from a single strand of hair, I can nurture a body in my internal space. Seeing this message, Luo Feng was overjoyed. His original body had already been decomposed by the internal space, and the genetic information was also left in the internal space. Although the energy stored in the core was not enough to reconstruct the body of the Golden Horned Beast, it was easy enough to reconstruct the body of an Earthling. The Golden Horned Beast can only produce 3 bodies in its entire life, and you intend to use one of them on an Earthling with the lowest level of human bloodline? What a waste! Babata saw that Luo Feng intended to produce the body of an Earthling and immediately shook his head. I am an Earthling. Producing my original body is a must. In the internal space, a golden light circulated and formed a gigantic golden cocoon. Luo Feng's Earthling body was being nurtured in the golden cocoon. I need close to a year's time? Luo Feng frowned. This time was too long. However, humans were born after 10 months of pregnancy. What's more, he still had to reconstruct an adult body. It wasn't strange for him to need close to a year's time. I can only wait. Luo Feng sighed. If that's the case, then I'll properly study the Golden Horned Beast's inherited techniques. Deep in the ocean, the crystal ball sunk to the bottom of the ocean and fell into silence. Luo Feng sacrificed himself? 3 days later, Lu Ziqing and the other 2 woke up and heard the news. They immediately looked at each other. That attack of ours still didn't completely kill the Golden Horned Beast? Seeing the image from the satellite, Lu Ziqing, Thunder God, and Hong were silent for a long time. Our power is still too weak. A Stargrade Golden Horned Beast had almost caused the extinction of humans on Earth. There were countless more terrifying beings in the universe. If an existence far beyond the Stargrade came, what would happen to Earth? Hong suddenly stood up. I'm going back to train in seclusion. Me too. Thunder God nodded, his eyes filled with determination. Luo Feng's sudden sacrifice might cause some people to covet the property he left behind. I'm all alone, so I can't help much. I'll have to rely on you guys. Lu Ziqing turned his head and glanced at Hong and Thunder God as he reminded them. We'll take care of it. Hong nodded, his eyes filled with coldness. I'll exterminate anyone who dares to extend their claws. I'll also send people to protect Luo Feng's family. Don't worry. Thunder God nodded seriously. If that's the case, then I'll go back to train in seclusion. After bidding farewell to the 2 of them, Lu Ziqing flew up on his sword and whistled through the air. He didn't return to Mauname directly. Instead, he went to Jiangnan Base. Lu Ziqing landed in Jiangnan Base's Mingyue district and arrived at Luo Feng's house. Shu Mountain Swordsman. Seeing this world-famous figure, Luo Feng's parents, brother, and Su Xin felt a surge of grief in their hearts. Tears rolled down their cheeks. If Luo Feng hadn't died, he would have become a hero like the Shu Mountain swordsman. Now, even though he was still glorious, he was fundamentally different, fearing power but not virtue. Once benefits were involved, they wouldn't remember kindness. I'm sorry. Lu Ziqing lowered his head sadly. If he had fought to the death, he could have perished together with the golden horned beast. Then, Luo Feng wouldn't have died. But who would want to die? How can I blame you? That's his own choice. Su Xian shook her head. I know Luo Feng did it for us. He sacrificed himself so that we could live. Luo Feng may have left, but we're still here. Lu Ziqing waved his hand and took out a flying sword refined from the East Sea's azure dragon's tooth. He handed it to Su Xian. I can't help much. Take this sword. If anyone dares to bully you, take this sword out. No matter who it is, just chop him up. I'll take care of everything. Thank you. This sword is equivalent to the Shu Mountain swordsman's keepsake. No matter who it is, if anyone dares to bully the Luo family, they'll have to consider whether or not they can block the sword of the Shu Mountain swordsman. This made everyone in the Luo family, especially Luo Feng's brother Luo Hua, secretly let out a sigh of relief. After all, the property Luo Feng left behind is something that even a star traveler would covet. Chapter 960. The world was still the same. After the golden horned beast's danger disappeared, everything went back to its original path. With Lu Ziqing, Thunder God, and Hong, the three most powerful beings in the world protecting them, no one dared to mess with the Luo family. It wasn't like in the other path where after Luo Feng's death, many people were jealous of Luo Feng's wealth and bullied the Luo family. Some even attacked the Luo family directly. Time passed slowly. 3 months later, the sword energy on Mount Amei rushed to the clouds. The purple and green-colored sword energy was like two dragons rushing to the sky. At this moment, Lu Ziqing officially advanced to the star level. The transformation of a planet into a star is indeed a qualitative improvement. After finishing his training, Lu Ziqing felt that the Essence Jin Dan and Violet Palace elemental core in his body were many times stronger than before. The planet in his dantian and consciousness had already transformed into a brilliant sun. A sun shone in his dantian and a sun in his consciousness. It was as if these two suns contained the power of a real sun. Kid, your current strength isn't too bad. You can go out and see the world. After Lu Ziqing broke through to the star level, the purple gold gourd told him that he could go out and see the world. This made Lu Ziqing stunned. Senior Purple Gold Gourd, when you said see the world, are you referring to the universe space? The closest life planet to Earth is tens of thousands of light years away. How do I go? Use the Imperial Sword technique? With Lu Ziqing's current speed of 100 times the speed of sound, even if he flew to his death, he wouldn't be able to reach another planet. The normal way to travel is, of course, to drive a universe ship and use the space jump technique to escape into the dark universe and quickly reach your destination. The purple gold gourd laughed. However, with me, I have a more convenient method. I have a space transfer array. But didn't you say that the space transfer array needs a location? I haven't even been to an alien planet. How can I set a location? Lu Ziqing's face was filled with confusion. Hee hee. You think I haven't done anything in the virtual universe for the past few years? Things like the star field map are public in the virtual universe. The purple gold gourd showcased a light screen. On the screen, a vast star field appeared. Do you see it? According to the star field map, this old man has calculated the position of Earth and has already completed the teleportation within the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Senior Zijin, you're too amazing. Over the past few years, Lu Ziqing had also figured out the purple gold gourd's temper. It loved to hear flattery. Naturally, Lu Ziqing expressed his admiration at the right time. Ha ha, this is nothing. The purple gold gourd was greatly comforted and laughed heartily. Kid, there's no place on Earth for you to train. Fighting in the virtual space was not a real life and death battle. The vast sea of stars is waiting for you. Let's go. Purple light lingered on the ground of the cave abode, revealing an extremely mysterious spatial array. With a flash of light, heaven and earth instantly changed, crossing the endless starry sky. Originally, the purple gold gourd would need to expend a huge amount of energy to use such long-distance teleportation. However, when Liu grasped all the laws of heaven and earth in this world, he gave the purple gold gourd the authority to mobilize the laws of heaven and earth. This kind of spatial teleportation was essentially the operation of the laws of space in this world. No matter how far the teleportation was, there would not be any energy consumption. This was like carrying a bucket of water into a water tank. It required energy. However, if the river water flowed into the tank by itself, then there was no need for energy. With a flash of light, Lu Ziqing's figure appeared in a foreign land. In the sky, a huge blue moon covered half of the sky. In addition to this huge blue moon, there were colorful clouds floating in the sky. The entire sky was like a rainbow, colorful and gorgeous. The scenery here is not bad. Seeing such a gorgeous sky, Lu Ziqing praised and asked the purple gold gourd, "Senior Zijin, what is this place?" In front of him was a wilderness. On the ground, there was a strange plant that was as tall as a human. It had purple skin and purple leaves. It was like a vine spreading on the ground. However, the branches and leaves that grew out looked like a cactus. This is Black Dragon Mountain Starfield, Horn Dragon Star. Horn Dragon Star? All right, anyway, I don't know what this place is. Lu Ziqing shrugged his shoulders. This was the first time he left Earth. He was not familiar with anything. This Horn Dragon Star, Lu Ziqing had no idea what it was. Northwest is Horn Dragon City. This planet is considered a prosperous place in the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. It's considered safe and suitable for your initial training. As the purple gold gourd spoke from behind a cliff in front of him, 5 figures suddenly rushed out. "Ha ha! Another fat sheep. Brat, leave all your belongings behind, or else I'll kill you." 5 humanoid creatures with horns on their heads, bodies covered in scales, dragging along a lizard tail, carrying huge axes and clubs. They screamed as they rushed out, fiercely blocking Lu Ziqing's path. "This is the safe you were talking about?" Lu Ziqing twitched his mouth and held onto his sword hilt. These few years of training in the virtual universe, Lu Ziqing had mastered the universe language. It was not to the extent that he could not understand what others were saying. It's just that Lu Ziqing still did not understand why the lizard man, cat man, snake man, and other creatures were also considered humans. The 5 creatures in front of him were the so-called lizard man. Of course, this place is considered safe. If it wasn't, you would be crushed by the energy storm or something like that the moment you enter. The purple gold gourd laughed. "The first battle of the alien planet is about to begin. Fight, young man." Lu Ziqing was speechless as he twitched his mouth. He looked at the 5 lizard men in front of him and coldly said, "Scram or die." "HM, you're looking for death." The 5 lizard men roared in rage. Their almost 3-meter-tall bodies waved their huge axes and clubs and rushed towards Lu Ziqing. "Lizard man, it's not like I haven't killed one before." In the virtual universe, Lu Ziqing had seen countless races. The beastmen, a branch of the human race, Lu Ziqing was naturally not unfamiliar with them. His body shook and a dragon-tooth sword appeared in his hand instantly. His superb body movement made Lu Ziqing's figure seem like a wisp of smoke as he shuttled through the gaps between the giant axes and the big clubs. Clang! The sword flashed and specks of cold stars appeared suddenly. The eye-piercing tactic from years ago was used again. In the blink of an eye, the 5 lizard men's heads were pierced through by the sword and fell to the ground with a plop sound. "How dare you rob people with such little skills?" Lu Ziqing put away the dragon-tooth sword and saw the faint scratches on the blade. He shook his head again. The long sword made from the dragon tooth of the East Sea Azure Dragon is indeed useless. Lu Ziqing glanced at the 5 lizard men and did not find anything useful. He waved his sleeves and turned to leave. Riding on the sword, He flew up and rushed towards Serpent City. Chapter 961. This is Horned Dragon City? Lu Ziqing looked up at the scene before him. It was an eye-opener. This wasn't a city anymore. He'd seen a city that stretched for hundreds of thousands of miles, like a continent. In mid-air, floating in the clouds. That's what a city is, right? Actually, those floating cities are just some rich people's villas. The purple gold gourd laughed lightly. Kid, the universe is huge. Even a galaxy is just some people's territory. Even some powerful beings directly control an entire race and occupy countless star fields. All right, seeing for yourself is indeed better than hearing about it. The things seen in the virtual universe were still very different from the real universe. Lu Ziqing nodded and walked into Horned Dragon City. Such a huge space city naturally didn't have city gate, nor did it collect taxes. Landing on the main road outside the city, Lu Ziqing stepped into Horned Dragon City. The huge city was like a prosperous country. All sorts of beautiful buildings towered into the clouds. The city was filled with people and carriages. There were all sorts of flying cars whizzing through the air. There were also spirit readers riding on flying weapons, but most of them were people walking on the ground. There were all sorts of people, skin color, hair, body shapes, all sorts of weird things. Lu Ziqing had seen many types of people in the virtual universe before, so he wasn't surprised. Kid, what you need to do now is to increase your power. After Lu Ziqing walked around Horned Dragon City for a while and was dazzled by all the sights, the purple gold gourd reminded him. This place is very prosperous, right? A Sector Lord level being can destroy this planet with one slap. Without power, all the glory and wealth are just illusions. Once you have enough power, controlling a universe country won't be a problem. Yes, thank you, Senior, for reminding me. Even though the scenery before him was luxurious, there was no meaning to it. Only one's own power was the foundation of everything. Lu Ziqing nodded. Then, Senior, do you have any suggestions? Virtual battles are only for practicing skills. There's no value in them now. What you need is real battles. Go be a mercenary. Universe mercenaries aren't a bad choice. Universe mercenaries? Within the virtual universe, Lu Ziqing knew about the Universe Mercenary Alliance. This wasn't an evil organization, and it was very loose. If you were willing to accept a mission, then accept it. If you weren't, then no one would care. However, to become a mercenary in the universe, he still had to take part in an examination. Then let's be a space mercenary for a while. Mercenary missions were extremely dangerous. Lu Ziqing originally wanted to gain experience and stimulate his potential between life and death battles, quickly increasing his cultivation. Universe mercenaries were also a good choice. There's also a Universe Mercenary Alliance base in Horned Dragon City. It's quite convenient. Walking along the street, Lu Ziqing soon arrived in front of a towering building. The building looked very strange. It looked like two giant swords that were placed in a cross. After entering the building, they arrived at a spacious hall. At this moment, there was a large group of people standing in front of a screen that occupied the entire wall in the hall. Extraterritorial battlefield? Oh my God, how could such a mission be given to low-level mercenaries like us? Seeing the words and images displayed on the screen, all the mercenaries in the hall exclaimed in shock. Extraterritorial battlefield. That's the front line between humanity and other races. Sector Lords are just cannon fodder. If we go over, we'll be blown to death in one breath. It's said that after a huge battle, corpses filled the space. Those are Sector Lord corpses. How can such a mission be given to us? Is there a mistake? The group of mercenaries discussed, and some even shouted in anger. The so-called clearing of the extraterritorial battlefield is actually just for everyone to collect the corpses and bury them in the battlefield cemetery. It's just to bury the corpses. Someone who seemed to be the leader of the Mercenary Alliance stood in front of the screen and explained to everyone, this is the resting period after a huge battle, and no other race's army would act against such a team, although it's not without danger. However, the danger level isn't too high. Lu Ziqing was speechless when he heard this. Sector Lords are just cannon fodder. After a huge battle, Corpses filled the space. Isn't this too scary? Rubbing his head, Lu Ziqing turned and left. He wasn't a mercenary yet. Even if he became one, he wouldn't accept such a mission. Such a mission was too dangerous. The corpses that filled the space, even undying beings, must have fallen. Even if it was just a normal Sector Lord soldier, a single slap from a Sector Lord could shatter a planet. After these Sector Lord soldiers died, their broken weapons, broken treasures, if there was even a bit of power left, wasn't something a Star Warrior could withstand. Above the Star level was the Universe level. Above, that was the Domain Lord level. And above, that was the Sector Lord level. The difference in power was simply unimaginable. Kid, I feel that such a place suits you. What made Lu Ziqing surprised was that the purple gold gourd actually wanted him to go to the extraterritorial battlefield. Lu Ziqing was stunned. Senior, even if you want to train, you can't go to such a place. You'll die if you get glared at. There's no meaning in training. It's just sending you to your death. A team that cleans the battlefield and collects the corpses. No army would be so bored as to attack such a team. After all, if they die in battle, they'll need someone to collect the corpses. The purple gold gourd laughed. Think about it. Those Sector Lords are undying beings. After they die, their broken weapons and treasures are useless to others. But I can refine them. More importantly, those corpses can all be refined into life sources and law energies that can all be used to make pills. In this world's training, law comprehension is the foundation. If I can refine countless law energies for you and infuse them into your body, how terrifying would your training speed be? Hearing the purple gold gourd's enticement, Lu Ziqing was moved. Only he was still worried about the dangers of the extraterritorial battlefield. What's there to be afraid of? With my teleportation array, even if there's danger, you'll be able to escape. The purple gold gourd's words reassured Lu Ziqing. All right, I'll do it. Gritting his teeth, Lu Ziqing decided to seek fortune in danger. Walking to the counter in the hall, Lu Ziqing immediately stated his intentions. I want to register as a Universe Mercenary. Welcome to the Universe Mercenary Alliance. A female tiger man behind the counter smiled at Lu Ziqing. Sir, according to the rules of the Universe Mercenary Alliance, to join the alliance, you'll have to undergo a mercenary test. I know. Regarding the test, Lu Ziqing already knew about it. Sir, there's good news. The Mercenary Alliance has just sent an order. Any mercenary willing to head to the extraterritorial battlefield to participate in the cleanup. Trainee mercenaries will be exempted from the test and directly promoted to official mercenary. Official mercenaries will be promoted by 1 level. Lu Ziqing's mouth twitched, giving so many benefits that meant no one would go there. However, I actually volunteered to go there. Chapter 962. We should be arriving soon. A huge transport ship jumped out from the dark universe space and appeared in a vast star universe. Ahead, there was a huge metal fort with a diameter of a few million km, almost like a huge planet floating in the vast universe. We haven't arrived yet. This is the Kylon War Supply Base. The next stop is the Outer Region Wars. A woman with the upper body of a human and the lower body of a snake sat up and smiled at Lu Ziqing. You're quite interesting, little guy. Others just want to be a little late, but you're looking forward to being early? Lu Ziqing smiled and shook his head. I'm just sick of sitting in the ship, right? Lu Ziqing was already sick of sitting in the ship. Departing from Horn Dragon Star, taking the ship to the Black Dragon Mountain Empire capital and gathering all the mercenaries there before taking the ship to the Ganwu Empire and meeting up with the mercenaries again before taking the ship again. He'd been on the ship for a year. If it wasn't for training and fighting in the virtual universe to pass the time, Lu Ziqing would probably have gone crazy. This is still good. The Snake Lady smiled. The space pathways of the Outer Region Wars are unobstructed and extremely fast. If it were any other place, such a distance would take you a few decades on a ship. All right, it's my first time sitting in a ship for so long. I've never traveled so far. Lu Ziqing smiled bitterly and shook his head. Lu Ziqing from Earth. When had he ever sat in a ship before? You'll get used to it slowly. The snake lady pointed outside. "Let's go, we're getting off the ship. After we enter the supply base, it will immediately warp and enter the outer region wars." The snake lady was one of the leaders of the mercenary alliance. This snake lady, called Naya, had been in charge of leading Lu Ziqing and the other mercenaries from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. After a year, Lu Ziqing had gotten familiar with this over 3,000 years old sector, Lord-level snake lady. This snake lady didn't put on any airs and was rather easygoing. Lu Ziqing often chatted with her and understood some general knowledge of the outer region wars. The huge cabin door opened, and Lu Ziqing followed the over 1,000,000 mercenaries that had come to clean up the outer region wars. They walked down the ship and entered the supply base. After half an hour, the supply base will warp. Hurry and sit down. The Snake Man leader led the Black Dragon Mountain mercenaries into a huge metal room and had everyone sit on the metal chairs in the room. Boom! Half an hour later, there was a loud boom, and the ground shook violently, as if there was an earthquake. The supply base, which was as large as a planet, suddenly accelerated, breaking through space and rushing into the dark universe. Not long after, there was another roar, and the supply base returned from the dark universe. In this short period of time, he had already traversed an endless distance. "All right, we're here." When the rumbling and shaking stopped, the Snakeman leader brought the Black Dragon Mountain Empire mercenaries out of the room. Lu Ziqing walked along the passageway. When he walked out a metal door that was over 100 kilometers wide, all he saw was a broken land. In front of him was a vast and boundless continent, but this continent was fragmented, like pieces of a broken mirror floating in the endless void. The dark red earth looked as if it had been soaked in blood for countless years. At a glance, the ground was densely packed with gravestones. Most of them were normal black gravestones, but there were also many bronze, silver, and golden gravestones. These gravestones were extremely tall. The golden gravestones were even 1,000 meters tall, like golden pillars. This is a graveyard. The continent in front of him was a graveyard. After countless years of war, many of the human race who had sacrificed themselves in the outer region wars were buried here. Other than those who were buried here, the rest were either dead without bones or were beaten to the point where not even dregs were left. If not, there were important people who had died and had to be sent back to be buried. "Mercenaries, gather at the altar." A loud voice rang out in the air. It did not reveal any heaven-shaking power, but it faintly brought with it a pressure that came from the soul. "Black Dragon Mountain mercenaries, follow me. Quick, quick." The Snake Woman leader turned her head and shouted, bringing the group of mercenaries and quickly running out of the supply base toward the tall mountain in front of them. After a while, all the mercenaries had reached the tall mountain where the altar was. Although it was said to be a tall mountain, in truth, it was really an altar. Layer after layer, like a huge flight of stairs, it formed an incomparably huge altar. At this moment, on the altar, on every level of the huge flight of stairs, there were soldiers wearing bright armors, their expressions solemn. The entire altar was solemn. Not a single sound could be heard. Feeling this atmosphere, the noisy mercenary group immediately became serious. Under the leader's lead, the 1,000,000 mercenaries lined up neatly on the flat ground below the altar. All of them had a solemn expression as they stood upright. Woo-woo! A bugle horn sounded in the sky. In the distant horizon, a bright radiance shone. Amidst the brilliant radiance, 3 silhouettes walked over. At the front was a middle-aged man wearing a black robe. This person raised a huge flag in his hand. It was a blood-red flag. The huge blood-red flag fluttered in the air. In the middle of the flag, there was a huge golden word flickering with a bright radiance. That was a mysterious and unfathomable word. It was not a word from any human race in the universe, and no one knew this word. However, when they saw the words, everyone understood what it meant. That was human. Heavens, that's the Nine-Mu King, the supreme commander who has guarded the extraterrestrial battlefield for 1,000,000 years. Beside Lu Ziqing, a mercenary exclaimed in a low voice. Nine Mu King. Lu Ziqing blinked, feeling that there seemed to be something wrong with this title. Ding dong. A melodious sound of a bell rang out. Behind the ninth shepherd king, who held the flag high up in the air, two peerlessly beautiful women, one red and one white, carried a black coffin as they slowly walked over. As they walked, the woman in red and the woman in white waved their arms at the same time. Endless flowers bloomed. Fiery red roses and light pink hibiscus condensed into a path made of fresh flowers in the air. Flowers bloomed and withered, countless petals scattered down. Hibiscus King, Rose King, they're actually sending him off personally? The know-it-all mercenary beside Lu Ziqing started to exclaim in surprise again. Why are the titles of these three so strange? Hearing the titles of these three kings, Lu Ziqing felt that it was somewhat strange, but he did not know what was strange about it. Comrade, have a safe journey. Nine Mu King walked up to the altar and stuck the flag in his hand high up on the altar. Hibiscus King and Rose King carried the black coffin and solemnly placed it on the altar. The three of them bowed in unison, paying their respects to the black coffin. Comrade, have a safe journey. The countless warriors standing on the altar roared in unison. Their voices reverberated throughout the world, shaking the nine heavens. This was the foundation that allowed the humans of the universe to stand proudly at the peak of the world and become one of the strongest races in the universe. Chapter 963. Which big shot's funeral is this? After the sacrificial ceremony ends, Lu Ziqing looks at the black coffin placed at the top of the altar and guesses. Black Dragon Mountain mercenaries, we're going to start work. Follow me. The Snake Lady leader roars and brings the group of Black Dragon Mountain mercenaries and rushes to the top of the altar. At the same time, the other mercenaries from the various human countries also rushes to the top of the altar under the lead of their leaders. What is going on? Lu Ziqing is puzzled, but it is not good for him to ask. He can only follow the group and advance. Not long later, all the people have arrived at the platform above the altar. Mercenaries, our mission is to collect the corpses of the soldiers who died in the battle in the black coffin. Take note, it is not that there is no danger inside. Everyone must be careful. A leader walks to the front of the black coffin and bows towards the coffin. He waves his hand and shoots out a ray of light. Wong, a ray of light bursts out from the coffin and a huge light door appears in front of everyone. Go in. Quickly, the various leaders roar at the same time and bring their subordinates into the light door. Inside this coffin is actually a world. At this time, Lu Ziqing naturally knows that this coffin is not some big shot who is collecting the corpses, but a human soldier who died in battle. Passing through the light door, in front of them is a vast and boundless world. On the colorful sky, flowers are blooming one after another. But these flowers are as big as a planet. Under their feet is an endless land. But on this land, there is a huge mountain of corpses. Our mission this time is to collect the corpses of these human soldiers who died in battle. As they advance, Lu Ziqing asks the Snake Lady leader. Most of it is these. The Snake Lady nods her head. Usually, the soldiers who died in battle will be brought back by their comrades. But there will always be some that are left outside. After we collect these corpses, we still have to go to the battlefield to search again. That time is the real danger. No wonder. Lu Ziqing nods his head. If it's like this job, it is all at the back of the battlefield, and there is no danger at all. Why would there be people who are not willing to come? It was the most dangerous place to search for the corpses of warriors in the extraterritorial battlefield. The great battle caused the heaven and earth Yuan Qi to be thrown into chaos. Space collapsed, and there were turbulent storms and various spatial rifts everywhere. If one were to accidentally fall into one of these rifts, they would end up without a corpse remaining. Mercenaries, take note. These warriors died bravely in battle for the prosperity of our human race. We have to respect the remains of the soldiers. The leaders of the various divisions were warning the mercenaries under their command. We need to clean their bodies and change them into new military uniforms before placing them in the coffin. Even if it's a broken body, we have to find a complete one. Let's get to work. With an order, the million mercenaries walked towards the corpses and began to collect the bodies of the dead warriors. So many Sector Lord warriors have died. This was only the first battle, right? Humans, do they have so many Sector Lord level warriors? Lu Ziqing looked at the huge mountain of corpses, and his heart was filled with doubt. Even the Silver Blue Empire, which occupied 8 galaxies, didn't have a Sector Lord. There were countless galaxies in the universe, but were there so many Sector Lords that could be wasted on the battlefield? Other than the humans that live in the universe space, there are some humans that live in the small worlds of the Undying. At the Undying level, the small worlds are God countries. God country humans, it's easier for them to become Sector Lords. However, the highest level they can reach in their lives is that of a Sector Lord. The purple gold gourd explained to Lu Ziqing. God country humans. Lu Ziqing was shocked. These God country humans, in truth, were the main force of every battle. They had sacrificed so much. How admirable! Lu Ziqing sighed and threw himself into the work of collecting the corpses. Senior purple gold gourd, those broken weapons, broken armors, broken treasures, you have to collect them in time. Lu Ziqing didn't come to the extraterritorial battlefield to collect the corpses for nothing. These things were extra rewards. Don't worry, these things are useless to others, and no one will snatch them. With me making a move, naturally none of them will be able to escape. The purple gold gourd let out a strange laugh and said, also, I can extract the laws of nature from the corpses of these warriors. Don't worry, no one will find out. A formless ripple spread out, and all the more valuable weapons and armors were all swept clean by the purple gold gourd. In the entire field, millions of mercenaries were busy cleaning up the corpses. Although they had their own teams, there wasn't a strict division of work. Lu Ziqing circled around the mountain of corpses without leaving a trace. He swept away all the valuable fragments of weapons and armors in the mountain of corpses. Ha ha! Kid, you're rich. Rich. The purple gold gourd laughed loudly in Lu Ziqing's mind. Kid, do you know? These broken weapons and armors, this old man can repair them. Although I need to use up a lot of materials, I can at least repair a third of them for you. This is a Sector Lord's equipment. If you bring them to the Black Dragon Mountain Empire and sell them, you can even buy a few on Earth. With this money, you could buy a lot of cultivation resources. That's great. Lu Ziqing was overjoyed. This trip was indeed the right one. The harvest this time was simply huge. However, to extract the power of law, it won't be that easy. Kid, you need to personally touch the corpses. Only then can I extract the power of law without anyone knowing. Is that so? Lu Ziqing turned his head and scanned the surroundings. He realized that cleaning the corpses and changing them into new military uniforms was the most suitable job for him. Leader, Lu Ziqing ran to the Snake Lady's side and said with a serious face, Leader, I really admire these heroes who died in battle for humanity. I want to personally tidy up their appearance. Please allow me to do so. I couldn't tell that a kid like you had such awareness. The Snake Lady smiled and nodded. Just nice. Many people don't want to do this. They find it dirty and disgusting. If you can take the initiative to do it, that's the best. Saying that, the Snake Lady turned and brought Lu Ziqing to the place where the corpses were being cleaned up. Leader, this subordinate of mine really admires these sacrifice soldiers and took the initiative to participate in the cleanup work. Arriving at the cleanup site, the Snake Lady reported to an ape-man covered in black fur. Hearing this, the entire cleanup site, tens of thousands of mercenaries who endured the disgust and cleaned up the corpses, suddenly raised their heads in surprise. Looking at Lu Ziqing, their eyes were filled with sympathy. This kid is sick in the head. Ah, good. That's great. The ape-man was also stunned for a moment, then praised Lu Ziqing with a face full of smiles. Young man, work hard. I have high hopes for you. Thank you, leader. Lu Ziqing bowed and cupped his fists, happily joining the cleanup work. What a good, hot-blooded young man. The ape-man nodded in satisfaction. but sneered in his heart. This kind of hot-blooded and brainless guy definitely won't live long. Lu Ziqing sneered in his heart too. Do you think I'm stupid? This time I've struck gold. This is the power of law. The power of law that countless people dream of having. Chapter 964. Cleaning, collecting, burying. This series of tasks took an entire month. In this month, the hard-working Lu Ziqing had won the praise of the entire mercenary team. The dirty work of collecting the corpses was something that everyone was fighting to do. Then his image in everyone's mind became an honest and hot-blooded young man. For who was tricked by Lu Ziqing definitely wouldn't be able to rest in peace. Huge profit. Huge profit. Thousands upon thousands of Sector Lord corpses. After Lu Ziqing's hands, all the law powers fell into Lu Ziqing's pocket. Kid, this time's harvest, you've really gained a lot. In the purple gold-gorged space, metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, light, darkness, time, and space, the law powers mix together, forming a colorful cloud. Do you know how long it takes for a cultivator to comprehend law powers to the Sector Lord level? If it's a God country human, with the law bestowed by an undying, it would take about 3,000 years to grasp it to the Sector Lord level. If it's a universe human, to reach this level, it would normally take 5,000 to 8,000 years, or even longer. The purple gold gourd laughed loudly. Kid, with my help, I'll merge these laws into your body. In less than a day, you'll have Sector Lord level law powers. That's great. That's great. When Lu Ziqing heard this, he was so excited he was trembling. One day was equivalent to a few thousand years. Where else could he find such a good thing? This is only part of the benefits. Do you know? Normal Sector Lords, being able to grasp one or two laws is already the limit. But you have all of them. These thousands of corpses were all Sector Lords. Everyone's cultivation technique was different. The law powers they had were also different. After extracting countless people's law powers and combining them, Lu Ziqing had already gathered all the laws. Thank you, Senior. Thank you, Senior. Lu Ziqing was so happy he couldn't tell north from south. However, after these laws are merged into your body, although you can use them to truly comprehend them, you'll still need to spend a long time. However, once you have them, it'll be much easier to comprehend them. I'll seriously comprehend them. Lu Ziqing smiled and nodded. The current situation was like a difficult problem. Others still had to rack their brains and spend a lot of time and energy to find the answer. However, Lu Ziqing already had the correct answer. He had the answer and the process to solve the problem. Furthermore, he could practice continuously. If he still couldn't master it, he could only blame himself for being too stupid. Kid, go back to the camp and rest for a day. I'll help you refine the power of law into your body. After dealing with all the corpses in the black coffins, the mercenaries were given 3 days of rest. 3 days later, they would need to go to the battlefield to search for the corpses of the fallen warriors. All right, thank you for your trouble, Senior Ziqing. Lu Ziqing turned around and returned to the mercenary camp. The so-called mercenary camp was actually an empty barracks behind the camp of the human army. It was a huge metal fortress, like a huge city made of metal. In this fortress, the facilities were very complete. Every mercenary had a single room, and the living facilities inside were very complete. This was originally a military camp, and everything inside was prepared for the army. The mercenaries were only using it for a short period of time. Returning to his room, Lu Ziqing sat cross-legged on the ground and focused. All right, I'm going to integrate the power of law into your body. Be careful, it might hurt a little. As soon as he finished speaking, a huge and boundless power surged into his body. First, it was a vast and mighty watery light. It was like the Milky Way hanging upside down, like a raging tide. Melting, penetrating, evaporating, boiling, Lu Ziqing only felt that his entire body was constantly dissolving. Skin, flesh, tendons, bones, everything was melted by this watery light. Pain, indescribable pain. It was like being corroded by a strong acid. Clenching his teeth tightly, He calmed his mind and endured the erosion of this watery light with difficulty. Then a green light burst out violently. Every cell in his body seemed to be rapidly growing, as if countless flowers and trees were taking root and sprouting in his body. Then it turned into fire. The monstrous flames burned everything, turning everything into ashes. When this flame burned, Lu Ziqing felt as if he had been burned to ashes. In the next instant, the ashes turned into a thick earth, and the earth turned into a sharp golden aura. Then the wind howled, lightning flashed, thunder rumbled, light shone, darkness descended, time and space flowed. All kinds of heaven and earth laws manifested one by one, tormenting Lu Ziqing until he was hovering between life and death. When everything was over, all kinds of heaven and earth laws turned into countless extremely fine lines, engraved in the depths of Lu Ziqing's genes, and also engraved in the two suns in his dantian and sea of consciousness. Phew! After letting out a long breath, Lu Ziqing slowly opened his eyes. The colorful law lines in his eyes flashed and disappeared. Is this the law? At this moment, Lu Ziqing clearly felt the surging power of law in his body, as if he was breathing together with the entire world. Heaven and man connection, law resonance. Lu Ziqing only felt as if he could destroy the galaxy and tear the void with a raise of his hand. Of course, this was just an illusion. Although your law power is countless times stronger than the average sector lord. However, you haven't opened up an inner world. The source of a sector lord's power lies in the inner world. To be able to have the power of a world with a wave of your hand, this is a sector lord. The purple gold gourd reminded Lu Ziqing not to be confused by this illusion. I understand. Lu Ziqing smiled and nodded. Laws and the inner world complement each other. The inner world provides energy, and the laws drive this energy, exploding out with absolute power. This is a sector lord. Only laws, not an inner world. Lu Ziqing naturally wouldn't be so arrogant to think that he could sweep through a sector lord. With this law power, when I enter the outer region wars, I'll be even safer. As long as he didn't meet a sector lord, Lu Ziqing wasn't worried about ordinary people. In the outer region wars, the weakest are sector lords. The purple gold gourd chuckled, although no race's army will attack the corpse collection team. However, the energy storms and void cracks in the outer region wars are extremely terrifying. Purple light flashed, and two items landed in Lu Ziqing's hands. One of them was a palm-sized silver scale, and the other was a dark golden ball. Kid, this scale is the silver scale shield, a sector lord level shield. Although your strength isn't enough, and you can't use all of its power, it can still allow you to block a sector lord's attack. The purple gold gourd started to show off. As for that dark gold round ball, it called the Annihilation Gold Lightning. When you need to use it, remember to throw it far away. If you blow yourself up, don't blame me. Thank you, Senior. With the power of the laws and these two protective treasures, Yi Ziqing could not help but frown. The outer region wars would be even safer. Chapter 965. Mercenaries gather. We are going to the outer region wars. On the morning of the third day, the various leaders shouted at the top of their lungs to gather the mercenaries. They boarded a transport ship and headed towards the outer region wars. On the transport ship that flew at light speed, a projection of the outside world was displayed. Stars and clouds were moving. The heaven and earth were shining brightly. From time to time, beautiful rainbow-colored clouds would burst out from the five-colored brilliance like blooming flowers. What a beautiful scene! Near Lu Ziqing, there was a young mercenary with some artistic flair. He had a pair of wings on his back, his face full of admiration. Hee, what a beautiful scene! The Snake Lady leader turned around and coldly laughed as she shook her head. That is an energy storm. With your little strength, as long as you are swept by it, there will be nothing left. That is an energy storm? Hearing this name, the mercenaries all shrunk back, their faces filled with fear. Even the artistic you from before was so scared his face turned white. What was the most dangerous thing in the outer region wars? The first was the void cracks. These things were formless and traceless. They couldn't be seen or touched, and were the most dangerous thing in the outer region wars. If one was swept by a void crack, it was very possible that one's head would be in this galaxy and one's body would be in another. In truth, void cracks were rather rare. Even though in a huge battle, if an undying attacked, it would definitely shatter the void and create countless void cracks. However, the universe space would automatically repair itself, and the void cracks would automatically disappear. Unless one's luck was bad and met a void crack that wasn't completely repaired, otherwise, it was very hard to meet one. However, the second most dangerous thing in the outer region wars, the energy storm, was very common. In a huge battle, the races of the universe would kill each other. How terrifying would the energy released be? Even though the energy would dissipate, it would dissipate slowly. This formed the energy storm that filled the outer region wars. The more intense the battle, the more terrifying the energy storm. Now we will assign missions. On the transport ship, the black gorilla-like leader of the mercenaries held a message screen. After opening it, he gave out missions to all the mercenaries on the ship. Barbarian Region Mercenaries, you guys go to Region 1. Ganwu Mercenaries, you guys are in charge of Region 3. Sky Snake Mercenaries, you guys are in charge of Region 4. Black Dragon Mountain Mercenaries, you are in charge of D2. After mumbling for a long time, the chimpanzee finished announcing the areas that all the teams were responsible for. Then, he turned his head to look at the Black Dragon Mountain Mercenary team. Leader Naya, I have a special mission. I need someone from your team to help me. Chimpanzee grinned and looked at Lu Ziqing. The young man named Lu Ziqing in your team is honest and sincere. He's a good seedling. I think highly of him. Let him come with me to complete the quest. Lu Ziqing opened his mouth. How can someone like me be considered loyal and sincere? Sir Commander, Lu Ziqing's mission is to clean up the extraterritorial battlefield. Changing the mission midway is against the rules, right? The snake girl frowned, somewhat worried about the chimpanzee's special mission. Don't worry. This mission is also to clean up the extraterritorial battlefield. The chimpanzee smiled. In the headquarters of the Mercenary Alliance, one of the Black Marking's clansmen was sacrificed in this battle. His body has not been found yet. I accepted a personal mission from His Excellency Black Marking to search for his clansman. You're a good subordinate. He's suitable to be my helper. Don't worry, there's no danger. Is that so? If it was also to search for the remains of a lost warrior, then there would be no problem. The snake girl nodded and turned to look at Lu Ziqing. Little guy, are you willing to go? You have the right to refuse such a personal mission. Thank you for your concern, Sir Commander. I'm very grateful. It's my honor to be of service to Sir Commander. Lu Ziqing nodded with a smile, looking very happy. Actually, Lu Ziqing sneered in his heart. What did he mean by honest and sincere, a good seedling? Wasn't he just easy to fool and easy to trick? Lu Ziqing did not know what the chimpanzee was planning. If he really had the heart to cultivate him, then he would be grateful. If he wanted to trick him, Lu Ziqing was confident that he would let the chimpanzee know what honest and sincere was. Good, good. Chimpanzee smiled and nodded when he heard Lu Ziqing's answer. He looked at Lu Ziqing with eyes full of admiration, as if he really approved of Lu Ziqing. With Sir Commander's protection, there won't be any danger. The snake girl looked at Lu Ziqing and nodded with a smile. Do your best for Sir Commander. Is this called fortune favors fools? Seeing this scene, the mercenaries around were very jealous of Lu Ziqing. If he followed the commander, as long as he protected Lu Ziqing, there would definitely be no danger. The other mercenaries followed the leader. A leader had to manage tens of thousands of people. When there was danger, how could he take care of everyone? The transport ship flew all the way and dropped off groups of mercenaries on various battlefield zones. Soon after, the entire transport ship's mercenaries had left, leaving only Lu Ziqing and the chimpanzee. Come with me, we're leaving. The chimpanzee brought Lu Ziqing to a hangar and boarded a small spaceship. With a boom, the small spaceship started and rushed out of the transport ship. Little guy, I have high hopes for you. The chimpanzee grinned and looked at Lu Ziqing with admiration. If you work for me, I will naturally treat you well. As he spoke, the chimpanzee waved his hand, and a dark gold long blade with countless spikes appeared in his hand. This is the spoils of war that I obtained when I was fighting in the Outer Region Wars. The weapon of the bug hunters, the mantis blade. Touching the dark gold blade, the chimpanzee's face seemed to have some nostalgia. This is the weapon of a sector Lord level hunter. Back then, this old man almost died under this mantis blade. Looking at Lu Ziqing, the chimpanzee handed over the mantis blade. This is for you. Cultivate well in the future and try to become a sector lord as soon as possible. Lu Ziqing was stunned for a moment and quickly reached out to take the mantis saber. Thank you, Sir Chief. You're welcome. The chimpanzee smiled and waved his hand. Do well. I admire honest and hot-blooded youths like you the most. In this world, there aren't many people as honest as you. It's rare to meet one. I naturally have to nurture you well. Thank you, Sir Commander, for your kindness. Lu Ziqing thanked again, but secretly let the purple gold gourd check the mantis blade. No problem. Hearing the purple gold gourd's conclusion, Lu Ziqing was a little surprised. Drip a drop of blood on it and refine it. Even if you meet a sector lord, you can at least fight back with all your might. The chimpanzee smiled at Lu Ziqing. Oh, okay. No matter what the chimpanzee was planning, there was no problem with the blade. Lu Ziqing dripped a drop of blood on it and had a preliminary reaction with the mantis blade. However, Lu Ziqing still had doubts in his mind. A sector lord level weapon was not cheap. Giving such a treasure to me, could it be this Sir Commander really admires me? Really wants to nurture me? Chapter 966. We're here. The spaceship passed through an energy storm and came to a broken piece of land. The chimpanzee put on a black heavy armor, carried a giant axe, and carried a huge shield on his back. He greeted Lu Ziqing. Little guy, follow me. We're setting off. The cabin door of the spaceship opened, and the chimpanzee led Lu Ziqing onto the broken land. It was a desert. Strong winds swept up sand and dust, creating a sandstorm that filled the sky. If it had been an ordinary sandstorm, Lu Ziqing would not have cared. After all, the power of a stellar level was not something a mere sandstorm could harm. However, this sandstorm was actually mixed with the power of the laws of wind and earth. Although it was not as terrifying as the energy storm, it was not something a star-level powerhouse could withstand. As soon as he stepped out, Lu Ziqing was swept up by the wind and sand. His body was even hit by countless sand and stones, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. I was careless. The chimpanzee saw Lu Ziqing's situation and shook his head awkwardly. He quickly waved his hand and released a light shield. I haven't brought you around for many years. I forgot that you can't withstand the remnant power of the laws in this sandstorm. I'm too weak. I've caused trouble for you, sir. Lu Ziqing reached out to wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth and lowered his head in embarrassment. He seemed to be ashamed that he was too weak and was a burden to the commander. Actually, Lu Ziqing sneered in his heart. You're definitely doing this on purpose. You've specially found a loyal and honest stellar-level youngster. How could you forget all of a sudden? You're obviously trying to sound me out. The chimpanzee obviously wanted to test whether Lu Ziqing had any trump cards or protective treasures. Fortunately, I was careful and did not reveal the silver scale shield and the power of laws, even if I got injured. Regardless of whether the chimpanzee really had bad intentions, the loyal and honest Lu Ziqing would definitely not reveal his trump cards in front of others. Little guy, this mission is very easy. The chimpanzee held up the smart terminal on his wrist and grinned. We're very lucky. The positioning mark on the Black Seal King's clansman is still intact. On the screen of the smart terminal, a blue dot was blinking nonstop. Come with me. The chimpanzee waved his hand and led Lu Ziqing toward the blue light spot. You brat, you brought me good luck. Originally, I thought that this mission would be very difficult. I didn't expect to find the target so easily. The chimpanzee seemed to be very happy. As he walked, he said to Lu Ziqing, "Your Excellency, that's the immortal king. An undying with a king title is the strongest amongst the undying. Kid, we found the Black Mark King's clansman this time. Regardless of whether he was dead or alive, the Black Seal King would definitely reward him." The Immortal King's reward. If I can get a secret technique manual, I'll be rich. Along the way, they chattered nonstop. The two of them climbed over mountains and passed through a broken canyon. Finally, they arrived at a cave. This was the location indicated by the signal. The huge cave was in ruins, and there were traces of swords and sabers everywhere. Was this the mark of the sky-splitting claw? The demon race's sky-splitting beast came here? Could it be that the Black Mark King's clansmen fought with the sky-splitting beast? Looking at the marks on the wall, the chimpanzee frowned. He held a shield in one hand and an axe in the other. His expression was very solemn. Leader, the sky-splitting beast and Black Mark King's clansmen should all be Sector Lord realm, right? Sector Lord strength. Shouldn't they be able to shatter planets? How come they only left some marks on the rocks? Lu Ziqing saw these marks and was very puzzled. This is the outer region battlefield. This is the gold source continent. It's not a normal planet. Even a Sector Lord wouldn't be able to shatter it. The chimpanzee replied and carefully continued forward. Even a Sector Lord could only leave a mark on the continent. However, this continent was actually shattered. What kind of strength is that? Lu Ziqing was speechless. Following behind the chimpanzee, Lu Ziqing also raised his guard. Even the chimpanzee was very careful in this place. It must be very dangerous. Even if he could use the silver scale shield to block at the crucial moment, he couldn't be careless. Along the way forward, there were traces of battle everywhere. Hundreds of thousands of meters underground, a huge underground space appeared in front of them. In this underground, cave-like space, there were fluorescent underground plants that lit up this vast space. In front of the two, there was a beast that looked like a huge snake, but the front half of its body was like a pangolin. It laid on the ground like it was in a deep sleep. This huge beast looked ferocious, especially its two huge front claws that extended out sharp claws like blades. It looked very terrifying. "It's dead." The chimpanzee exhaled and nodded to Lu Ziqing. "The signal is not far ahead. Let's go." Passing by the crouching sky-splitting beast, the two continued deeper. However, Lu Ziqing turned his head to look at the sky-splitter beast and frowned slightly. He thought to himself, there are no injuries on its body, but this sky-splitter beast is already dead. How'd it die? Isn't that simple? Its soul was destroyed by someone. The purple gold gourd smiled and replied, "Destroy the divine soul? To be able to destroy the soul of a Sector Lord realm sky-splitting beast. This person, could it be the Black Mark King's clansman? He actually has such means?" Lu Ziqing was filled with doubts and couldn't figure it out. He could only toss this question aside and continue to follow the chimpanzee. Rumble. At this moment, there was a huge explosion ahead. "Enemy attack. Retreat. Don't go near." The chimpanzee shouted at Lu Ziqing. He raised his huge shield and slammed it forward. There was a huge explosion. Lu Ziqing hid behind a boulder and looked forward. He saw a figure with a head like a lizard and a body like a human, wielding a sledgehammer and fighting with the chimpanzee. Crocodile demon? Lu Ziqing saw the figure and instantly understood its origin. This was a crocodile demon of the demon race. Until now, Lu Ziqing still didn't understand why a human head and animal body was classified as a human. And this kind of human body, but animal head, was the demon race. Could it be that the standard to differentiate humans was the head? Earth-splitting slash. The chimpanzee roared and knocked away the crocodile demon's hammer with his shield. He waved his huge axe and slashed down. Rumble. The earth shook violently. The earth-yellow power of the earth gathered on the huge axe. The extremely heavy power slashed down on the crocodile demon. Ah! With a scream, the crocodile demon was beheaded on the spot. Phew! The chimpanzee exhaled and turned to greet Lu Ziqing. It's fine now. This crocodile demon is the master of the sky-splitting beast. It also suffered some serious injuries before. I've already killed it. Leader is invincible. Lu Ziqing appropriately expressed his respect. What kind of invincible power is this? The chimpanzee laughed. Let's go. The Blackmar King's clansmen are just ahead. This crocodile demon and its sky-splitting beast must have fought with the Blackmar King's clansmen. That's why one died and the other was injured. Saying so, the chimpanzee stepped forward and continued forward according to the signal. At this moment, a doubt arose in Lu Ziqing's mind. The chimpanzee called me here for what? He can't possibly let me watch the show all the way, right? Chapter 9:67. Quick, quick! The Blackmar King's people are right in front. They walked along the cave, and soon a row of alloy trenches appeared in front of them. The alloy trenches were 5 meters tall and 1 meter thick, blocking the path in front of them completely. On top of the trench board, there were shooting holes. At this moment, the huge laser cannons on the shooting holes were shining brightly. Obviously, the laser cannons had been charged and were about to be fired. Your Highness, we're on the same side. Black Gorilla saw the situation and quickly identified himself. Your Highness, I'm a level 7 mercenary from the Universe Mercenary Headquarters. My name is Black Star, and I'm here on the Blackmar King's orders to find Your Highness. Black Star? Black Star from the Black Ape race. You're that loyal Black Star? A rough voice came from behind the alloy trench board. However, this voice was obviously weak, and it was obvious that he was injured. It's you. Come in. At this time, a door opened on the alloy trenches, and an ape man with red hair and a black ghost face mark on his forehead stood at the door with a black club. Black Star from the Black Ape race greets Your Highness of the Blackmar King. Your Highness, please forgive me for being late. Black Gorilla quickly bowed when he saw the red-haired ape man appear. You're so traditional. Get up. The red-haired ape man smiled and nodded. We're all part of the Human Alliance now. There's no difference between the Black Ape race and the Blackmark race. There's no need to care about this. You don't have to call me Your Highness. I dare not disobey the ancestors' rules. After bowing, Black Gorilla stood up and said emotionally, the Blackmar King heard that Your Highness was missing and thought that Your Highness had been sacrificed, so he ordered me to come and find you. Seeing that Your Highness is still alive, I'm very happy. I'm also very close to death. The red-haired ape man sighed. Come in. Let's pack up and leave this place immediately. Yes. Chimpanzee bowed respectfully to accept the order and then waved to Lu Ziqing. Your Highness, this is my subordinate. Although his strength is a little low, he is loyal and reliable. Let him help us. Yes. The red-haired ape man nodded with a smile. You're a loyal person, and your subordinates are also loyal. You're truly of the same origin. Your Highness is too kind. The chimpanzee's face was full of joy. It seemed that the red-haired ape man's praise made him overjoyed. Little guy, come and pay your respects to His Highness. Oh, greetings, Your Highness. Although Lu Ziqing was a little unwilling, he could only bow obediently. After all, with his star-state power, he couldn't act presumptuously in front of the Sector Lord. All right, let's not talk about these empty formalities. Come in. Pack your things. We'll leave this place immediately. The red-haired ape man waved his hand with a smile before leading the two behind the alloy trenches. After passing through the alloy trenches, there was another karst cave behind them. Other than some laser cannons and trench boards, there was nothing else. The only things that needed to be packed up were the laser cannons and trench boards. Little guy, you go over there and dismantle the laser cannons. His Highness, and I will dismantle these trench boards. After instructing Lu Ziqing, the chimpanzee and the red-haired ape man walked toward the trench boards. Your Highness is indeed from a higher race. These black crystal alloy trench boards, normal sector lords can't even break through them. In an emergency, it's a great defensive tool. The chimpanzee looked at the trench boards and praised. I also spent a lot of money to buy this thing. This thing is really not bad, and it saved my life. The red-haired ape man smiled and bent down, planning to pull out the nails that fixed the trench boards. Suddenly, A dark gold long blade with countless spikes broke through the air and slashed at the red-haired ape-man's neck. With one slash, the head fell to the ground. On the head, the two eyes were wide open, with a face full of shock and confusion, as if asking, "Why?" "Ha ha!" The chimpanzee held the long blade and laughed maniacally. "Ah, you killed him?" Lu Ziqing saw this and was shocked. As expected, this guy wasn't a good thing indeed. But seeing the long blade in the chimpanzee's hand, that was the mantis blade. It was exactly the same as the one he gave Lu Ziqing. "What do you mean I killed him?" The chimpanzee threw the mantis blade in his hand and looked at Lu Ziqing with a cold smile. "You were the one who killed him. Mantis blades appear in pairs. You used a drop of blood to refine one blade. In reality, you refined two blades." "Damn!" Lu Ziqing cursed in his heart. So the mantis blade was used to frame him? He tried so hard to guard against it, but he didn't guard against this. Why did you kill him? Why did you do this? Lu Ziqing was confused. Spending so much effort to find a person who was trapped underground and then killing him, was there a need to do this? As long as he didn't care, this red-haired ape-man would be trapped here. There was no way out. He couldn't think of a reason to do this. "You're not an ape-man. You don't understand." The chimpanzee grinned and waved his hand, grabbing the red-haired ape-man's head. "Do you know what this is?" Stretching out a finger and pointing at the black ghost face mark on the red-haired ape-man's forehead, the chimpanzee laughed out loud. "This is a soul mark, and also an inheritance mark. Countless years ago, all the ape-men in the Chanyuan star system, except for the difference in hair, there was no difference in strength. However, when the red ape race found the method of soul inheritance in an ancient mystic realm, the red apes became a high race." Why can they become a high race? Because they can pass on the cultivation, comprehension, and power of laws of the previous generation to the next generation in the form of a soul mark. Over time, the red ape race naturally became stronger and stronger. The chimpanzee chattered on, and on the fingertip of the ghost face mark, a stream of blood appeared and continuously seeped into the ghost face mark. "Do you know? I also have the bloodline of the red ape race. I can also obtain the inheritance of the black mark bloodline. That, Sir Chief, he has already been announced missing. After you killed him, to say that he died in battle, wouldn't it be fine? Is it necessary to frame me?" Lu Ziqing was a little confused. This person was clearly missing. Wouldn't it be fine to just say that he died in battle? What was the point of framing? Why was it so complicated? Of course it's necessary. The chimpanzee laughed ferociously. The black mark inheritance can only be inherited when one has just died. If you don't kill him, how can I inherit the inheritance? Damn, such an obvious framing. How can others believe it? Lu Ziqing was dumbfounded. "I killed him, and you just happen to appear here and inherit the inheritance. Who are you fooling? More importantly, almost all the mercenaries know that I was specially found by you. How can it be reasonable to find someone to take the blame? Am I too fake as a scapegoat?" Chapter 968. That's because I'm honest. Black Star patted his chest. I, Black Star, have been known for my honesty for tens of thousands of years. I've always been respectful to the black mark upper race, and I've always obeyed the rules of the race. I've sworn to protect every black mark upper race member with my life. I'm even more respectful than my own parents and ancestors. What the F***CK? Lu Ziqing was stunned. It was not difficult for a person to do a good deed. The difficult part was doing good deeds for the rest of their life. The difficult part was pretending to do good deeds for the rest of their lives. To be able to pretend to be honest and considerate to such an extent, that was not something an ordinary person could do. Therefore, I, Black Star, speak the truth. If I say that I didn't kill him, you did. I only got the black mark upper race's inheritance by chance. People will believe me, because no one will believe that I would kill someone from the black mark upper race. Speaking up to this point, the skull in Black Star's hand released a black light that whizzed toward Black Star's forehead, leaving a deep mark of a ghost face on his forehead. Black Star had gotten the black mark upper race's inheritance. Honest Black Star should be Black Heart, right? Lu Ziqing's lips twitched a few times. It was not difficult to pretend to be honest. The difficult part was pretending to be honest for tens of thousands of years until everyone believed that he was honest. That was too scary. This guy obviously had his eyes on the black mark upper race's inheritance. After pretending for so many years, he finally got the chance. This was too rare. Do you know? What's the most important thing in the black mark upper race's inheritance? It's the laws. For countless years, the ancestors of the black mark upper race have left behind the knowledge of the laws. How scary is that? As long as I understand these laws, I can become immortal. Black Star laughed loudly. He raised his head and stared at Lu Ziqing. His eyes were cold. You coveted the treasures of the black mark race's highness. While the highness was heavily injured, you actually used the pair of mantis blades that I gave you to kill him. At that moment, Black Star's temperament changed drastically. Loyalty, integrity, honesty. At that moment, the honest Black Star appeared. Black Star raised his giant axe and pointed it at Lu Ziqing. His face was filled with rage, as if he really was a loyal person who had sworn to protect the Black Mark race. I was the one who gave you the mantis saber. Although you have committed a heinous crime, I cannot absolve myself from the blame. After killing you to avenge His Highness, I will destroy my own eyes to apologize to His Highness. Because I was blinded by your sincerity and didn't know how to judge a person. With tears rolling down his cheeks, Black Star let out an extremely sorrowful roar. It was as if he was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. All right, the best way to deceive others is to deceive yourself. Black Star was completely immersed in his own story. His god's soul, his memories, and his everything were all moving in this direction. In Black Star's soul, the loyal Black Star had appeared. Even if others used the soul-searching technique, they would only be able to see the story that Black Star had made up. They would only be able to sense his honest soul. Is this a case of schizophrenia? After acting as an honest and considerate person for so many years, did he really become an honest and considerate person? Lu Ziqing was completely in awe of Black Star. For him to be able to play with his honest and considerate appearance to such an extent, he had already reached the peak of perfection, right? Sinner, let your blood and soul pay for His Highness's life. The honest Black Star stomped his feet and charged over like a mountain. The giant axe in his hand emitted a cold light. Black Star did not need to spend much effort to deal with Lu Ziqing. A mere star-level kid could be killed with a casual swing of his axe. However, things were not as beautiful as Black Star had imagined. You are honest and considerate, but I am honest and considerate too. Lu Ziqing's lips curled into a faint smile. With a wave of his hand, a dark golden ball smashed toward Black Star's head. A last-ditch struggle. Annihilation golden lightning? Black Star did not care about Lu Ziqing's counterattack at first. However, when he saw the dark golden ball clearly, he was so shocked that he screamed. He quickly raised a shield and mustered all his strength to block in front of him. The Annihilation golden lightning was very powerful. This was a powerful weapon used by human warriors in the extraterrestrial battlefield. Using the Annihilation golden lightning at such a close distance, is he trying to perish together with me? Black Star was also shocked by Lu Ziqing's actions. I am honest and considerate. I never lie. Lu Ziqing laughed in his heart. Clang! The Annihilation golden lightning smashed onto the ground, but it did not explode. It's fake? Black Star was stunned for a moment before he understood. That's right. Even the military did not have many Annihilation golden lightning. How could this kid have the real Annihilation golden lightning? What's the point of using a toy to trick me? Black Star sneered at Lu Ziqing. His eyes were cold as he raised the giant axe in his hand. You are dead meat. Don't come over. Lu Ziqing retreated in panic. Then, another Annihilation golden lightning appeared in his hand. If you come again, I will perish together with you. Do you think I will fall for it again? Black Star sneered. Your tricks are meaningless. This is real. This is the real Annihilation golden lightning. Lu Ziqing screamed hysterically as he held the annihilation golden lightning in his hand. Cold sweat rolled down his forehead. Really? Then throw it at me. Black Star sneered in disdain. Throw it. With a shout, Lu Ziqing waved his hand and threw the annihilation golden lightning at Black Star. Raising his shield again, Black Star gathered all his strength and poured it into the shield. A yellow light screen appeared in front of him. The second time the annihilation golden lightning came, Black Star did not dare to be careless. He still used all his strength to block it. The power of this thing was extremely terrifying. After all, this was a powerful weapon to deal with Sector Lord soldiers on the battlefield. Ordinary Sector Lords would definitely be blown to pieces if they were hit by it. Even if Black Star's shield was strong, if he was hit by it, 9 out of 10 lives would be destroyed. Clang! This annihilation golden lightning did not explode again. Bastard, you are courting death. After being toyed with twice in a row, no matter how loyal Black Star was, he would become black-hearted. With a roar, Black Star raised his axe. This time it's real, Lu Ziqing shouted, and another annihilation golden lightning appeared in his hand. I'll be a fool if I believe you. After being tricked twice, how could Black Star fall for such tricks? He did not care about Lu Ziqing's threat and raised his axe to attack. Throw! Lu Ziqing waved his hand and threw the annihilation golden lightning at Black Star. Goodbye. A purple light flashed, and Lu Ziqing's figure disappeared instantly. Teleportation? Seeing Lu Ziqing disappear, Black Star was shocked. Only the immortal realm could have teleportation, right? How did he? Just as he thought of this, Black Star suddenly felt the surrounding metal law origin vibrating. This is the real annihilation golden lightning? Black Star was so frightened that his face turned pale. He quickly raised his shield. However, it was too late. Boom! With an earth-shattering explosion, endless metal law origin energy crazily exploded. Endless golden light with incomparably sharp law origin energy annihilated everything in the surroundings. Black Star, who did not even have the chance to put up a defense, was instantly crushed into powder by the metal law origin energy. You must not have heard the story of the boy who cried wolf. Lu Ziqing's figure appeared at the entrance of the cave. Feeling the violent explosion of metal law origin energy and the vibrations from the ground, Lu Ziqing smiled. Actually, I am very loyal. Chapter 969. After killing the monster, of course I have to pick up the corpse. After killing Black Star, Lu Ziqing used the teleportation formation and returned to the underground cave. Good fellow, the power of this annihilation gold lightning is terrifying. Returning to the cave and seeing the scene, Lu Ziqing was speechless. The scene in front of him was like a field after a storm. It was a mess. It was as if a piece of the ground had been dug out, revealing a huge hole. The alloy trench boards were all shattered, and not even the laser cannon was left. As for Black Star and the red-haired ape-man that had been killed, the only thing left was a broken shield and half an axe. I threw out a grenade, and I didn't even pick up the corpse. Lu Ziqing shook his head gloomily. Other than the broken shield and axe and the broken alloy trench boards, there's nothing else. Waving his hand, he kept the broken shield and axe, as well as the alloy trench boards. Although these things were broken, they were still very valuable materials. Glancing around the cave and not finding anything else, Lu Ziqing walked out of the cave. That sky splitter beast and that crocodile demon are both Sector Lords. Their corpses are complete. There should be some gains. Returning to the place where Black Star killed the crocodile demon, Lu Ziqing saw that the crocodile demon's corpse and its weapon were left behind. To Black Star, the crocodile demon's equipment isn't valuable. But to me, it's a huge gain. With a wave of his hand, the crocodile demon's body and the heavy hammer were stored away. Kid, it's really a huge gain. There are still many things stored in the crocodile demon's inner world. Just as he stored the crocodile demon, Lu Ziqing heard the purple gold gourd laughing happily. Inner world. Lu Ziqing was stunned. The inner world has a storage function. Of course, The inner world opened by a sector lord is a huge space. To a sector lord, the things stored in the inner world are the safest. While speaking, the purple gold gourd showed Lu Ziqing the spoils of war. There were all sorts of beast bones, tree branches, flowers, and fruits, as well as some metal materials. Among them, the most eye-catching was a string of dark green, fist-sized fruits. This is the jade spirit fruit. This thing, if used by the Yao clan, it would be a divine item that could increase one's cultivation. If used by other races, it would be highly toxic. Sector Lord level poison in the outside world, that's a huge killing weapon. In the outer region wars, the weakest were Sector Lords. Sector Lord level poison was naturally useless. However, in the outside world, a galaxy might not even have a Sector Lord. Such a Sector Lord level poison, anyone who touched it would die. Using poison isn't a good idea, is it? Lu Ziqing had an honest smile on his face. Yes, it's indeed not good. Our Mount Shu Sword sect is a righteous sect. How can we use poison? How about this? I'll change it a bit and use that broken axe as a material to refine something similar to the poison cold shield. Oh, this is not bad. That's not bad. Lu Ziqing's eyes lit up and he smiled. He was very satisfied with the purple gold gourd's method. It was also poisoning, but the poison cold shield was not so obvious. When a ray of light shone over, it didn't look like poison at all. There's still a sky splitter beast in front. Go and collect it. The purple gold gourd urged. Lu Ziqing hurriedly walked to where the sky splitter beast died and collected the huge sky splitter beast. The sky splitter beast is also a sector lord level demon beast. However, there's nothing useful in its internal world. After collecting the sky splitter beast, the purple gold gourd quickly finished its appraisal. However, the sky splitter beast and the crocodile demon's body itself is a huge gain. Kid, this old man will refine their flesh and blood into medicinal pills. Your cultivation will soar very quickly. Great! The pills refined from the flesh of 2 sector lords were many times stronger than the East Sea Green Dragon. After taking this pill, it was inevitable that one's cultivation would soar. However, wouldn't he die from overeating? Don't worry, I'll control the amount. After dividing it into many pills, there won't be a problem. The light changed, and the sky splitter beast and crocodile demon stored in the purple gold gourd instantly disintegrated and refined into pure life force. This life force was transformed into pills and stored in the purple gold gourd. There were a total of 3 types of pills. One was white, one was red, and one was gold. Kid, the white pill is suitable for star level consumption. The red one is for universe level. The gold one can only be used at domain lord level. Don't get it wrong. Thank you, senior. With the gains in hand, Lu Ziqing stood up and walked out of the cave. Outside the cave, the wind was still raging and the sandstorm was everywhere. However, with the purple gold gourd's teleportation formation, Lu Ziqing didn't need to rush through the sandstorm. The teleportation light flashed, and Lu Ziqing arrived on the ship. Senior purple gold gourd's teleportation formation is truly convenient. As long as I've been to a place before, after recording the space coordinates, I can easily teleport. Lu Ziqing laughed and walked towards the cockpit of the ship. This place was still very far from a base. If he didn't take the ship, unless he teleported back, there was no way to return. The purple gold gourd shot out a purple light and hacked the ship's AI system. This ship was now Lu Ziqing's property. Now I have to think about how to explain the death of the leader. Sitting leisurely on the control room's podium, a smile appeared on Lu Ziqing's face. The leader is honest and upright. Everyone knows that. When faced with danger, the honest and upright leader resolutely sacrificed himself to save a little kid like me. Naturally, it makes sense. With an idea in mind, Lu Ziqing knocked on the control podium. Ship the star, take off, return to the base. With a rumble, the ship broke through the air and rushed back to the mercenary base. A few days later, Lu Ziqing's ship landed in the base's army camp. His face filled with panic and grief, Lu Ziqing frantically ran out of the ship's cabin door. At this time, The mercenaries searching in the various regions had basically all returned to their base. Lu Ziqing's face was filled with panic and grief. He suddenly realized that the others were the same as him, similarly panicking and grieving. What's going on? Lu Ziqing was filled with questions as he rushed towards the Black Dragon Mountain mercenary base. Walking into the base, Lu Ziqing realized that the Black Dragon Mountain mercenary team of more than 10,000 people was left with less than 2,000 people. Leader Naya. Lu Ziqing frantically ran towards Snake Lady. Leader Naya, the leader, something happened to him. Something happened to the leader too? Snake Lady, who was sitting in the room with a gloomy face, was shocked when she heard Lu Ziqing's words. Quick, tell me, what's going on? Leader Naya, I went with the leader to find the Black Mar King's people. After we finally found them, we encountered a sky splitter beast and a crocodile demon. At the critical moment, the leader threw me out, then he detonated an annihilation golden lightning. As Lu Ziqing spoke, his eyes were red and tears rolled down his cheeks. His acting skills were no worse than Black Star's. I see. Snake Lady sighed deeply. The leader is an upright person. When faced with danger, he would definitely sacrifice himself to save you. You must remember this kindness. Yes, the leader's kindness. I will never forget it. Lu Ziqing replied with a pained expression, but he heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. He passed the stage easily. Chapter 970. Even the leader has sacrificed himself. Our losses this time are huge. Lamia let out another long sigh. When I just returned, I saw that the camp was very quiet. Did something happen during the search for the Outer Region Wars? Lu Ziqing asked Snake Lady. We met bug soldiers cleaning the battlefield. Snake Lady shook her head. The bug race has never needed to clean the battlefield. Their dead bug soldiers are all war tools. After they die, they can just regenerate them. I didn't expect the bug race to appear this time. So it's like that. Lu Ziqing already understood. To the bug race, no matter the race's corpse, they were all materials. They would definitely collect the corpses they saw. And, in the eyes of the bug soldiers, these mercenaries who came to search for corpses were also materials. It was easy to imagine what would happen to the mercenaries. They didn't get wiped out. That was because they ran fast enough. Pack up, we're going back. Snake Lady waved her hands at Lu Ziqing with a heavy expression. Going back? Didn't they say we have to stay for at least a year? Cleaning the Outer Region Wars missions, the shortest was at least a year. They had only been here for a few days, and were going back. The bug race's movements, the army thinks they might be lacking in resources. They're preparing to launch an attack soon. The war is about to begin. If we stay here, we'll be courting death. Snake Woman explained to Lu Ziqing. She wasn't in the mood to talk to Lu Ziqing. She instructed and sent Lu Ziqing out. Anyways, my rewards are big enough. It's good to go back. Lu Ziqing smiled and returned to his room. A day later, the mercenaries boarded the transport ship and left the Outer Region Wars. It was another year-long space flight. This year, Lu Ziqing's life was very fulfilling. Pills after pills were consumed. His training continued to grow. When the ship stopped at the capital of the Ganwu Empire, the Ganwu Galaxy, Lu Ziqing officially reached the star level 9. The next step is to break through and reach the universe level. With enough pills, along with the law energy, Lu Ziqing's training path wouldn't have any bottlenecks until Sector Lord level. However, to break through to the next level, he still needed to seriously stabilize and solidify his foundations. You're Lu Ziqing? Come with us. Just as the spaceship landed, a group of uniformed men boarded the transport ship and came before Lu Ziqing. You are? Lu Ziqing was stunned. What was going on? These people were dressed like police officers. I didn't break any galactic laws, right? We are the law enforcement team of the Mercenary Alliance. Lu Ziqing, you are suspected of murdering the leader of the mercenaries, Black Star. We want to investigate you. A black ape man, who was also covered in black fur, took out a badge and waved it in front of Lu Ziqing. Take him away. The other members of the law enforcement team came forward and held Lu Ziqing down. Huh. Lu Ziqing's heart tightened. This matter shouldn't have been exposed, right? Why are they looking for me? Wait, what's going on? The commotion here also alarmed Snake Lady. Seeing Lu Ziqing being arrested by the law enforcement team, Snake Lady quickly asked, Leader Naya, this mercenary under your command is suspected of murdering Black Star. We'll take him to investigate. The leader of the Black Ape Man turned to look at Lamia and raised his head arrogantly. My subordinate murdered Black Star? What kind of joke is this? He's only a stellar level. What did he use to murder? Even if an elephant stands still, it won't be bitten to death by an ant. Snake Lady was furious. She pointed at the law enforcement team and roared, I've already reported this matter to the Mercenary Alliance. You law enforcement team dare to pin such a ridiculous charge on me? I'll definitely not let you do as you please. Holding a long spear in her hand, Snake Lady confronted the law enforcement team angrily. Naya, this isn't something you can interfere with. The Black Ape Man sneered and took out a warrant. This is an order personally given by the Black Mark King. Leader Naya, do you have any objections? Black Mark King? Why would he? Naya was stunned. An immortal king actually intervened in such a small matter? Even if Lu Ziqing and Black Star accepted the Black Mark King's private mission to find the whereabouts of the Black Mark royalty, there was no need for him to personally pin such a charge on Lu Ziqing. Snake Lady couldn't figure out the reason, but she couldn't interfere anymore. The Black Mark King was an immortal king, a top figure among the immortals. He was also a huge figure in the Mercenary Alliance. Snake Lady stood up for Lu Ziqing only because Lu Ziqing was her subordinate. In front of the Black Mark King, Snake Lady was just an ant. She didn't have the ability to go against a huge figure like the Black Mark King. The Black Mark King is also a very reasonable person. He probably just wants to understand the situation and won't make things difficult for you. Snake Lady comforted Lu Ziqing and stepped back helplessly. Thank you, leader. Lu Ziqing nodded to Snake Lady. Their relationship was just that of a team member and leader. It wasn't easy for Snake Lady to do this. She couldn't expect more, and she couldn't do more. But how is she going to get through this? Snake Lady didn't believe that Lu Ziqing killed Black Star. Even the others didn't believe that Lu Ziqing could kill Black Star. But the truth was that Lu Ziqing had killed Black Star. If you resist, you'll definitely be killed on the spot. These law enforcers were all at the domain lord level. The leader was even a sector lord. Lu Ziqing wouldn't be able to win even if he risked his life. Even though he could teleport away, but he would be wanted by the Universe Mercenary Alliance from now on. They don't have any evidence to prove that I killed Black Star. It's very likely like what Snake Lady said. It's just an investigation. I can't lose my composure either. Even if it's a crucial moment, I can still teleport away. Taking a deep breath, Lu Ziqing gave up on resisting and followed the law enforcers out of the ship. Walking down the ship, the law enforcers brought Lu Ziqing onto a flying car. It tore through the air and rushed towards the Ganwu Empire Mercenary Alliance headquarters. As Lu Ziqing was too weak, the law enforcers didn't put any handcuffs on him. They just brought him along and flew. Not long after, the flying car landed in a gigantic floating city. The floating city was as huge as a planet. Landing in front of a black building, the law enforcers brought Lu Ziqing to a huge room. It wasn't a prison, nor was it an interrogation room. Instead, it was a meeting room. In this huge meeting room, 3 black uniform silhouettes sat on the stage. The shocking thing was that these 3 were all black apes. Lords, Lu Ziqing is here. After bringing Lu Ziqing in, the Black Ape Man captain bowed to the 3 people on the stage and left the room. You're Lu Ziqing? Sitting in the middle of the stage, a black ape with a scar on his face looked up at Lu Ziqing. His expression was ice cold. We're very fair. We never accuse people of crimes. Now, tell me, what evidence do you have to prove that you didn't kill Black Star? Lu Ziqing was stunned. Aren't you the ones looking for evidence to prove that I killed him? Why am I the one looking for evidence to prove that I didn't kill him? This works too. Chapter 971. Sirs, this is what happened. Lu Ziqing calmed himself down and repeated the words he had used to fool the Lamia. She was so grateful that tears flowed down her cheeks. Lord Blackstar was very kind to me because I was loyal and honest. At the last moment, he used the annihilation golden lightning to perish together with the enemies of the goblin race, but he threw me out of the cave. I'm very grateful for Lord Blackstar's kindness. I will never forget it. Wiping his tears, Lu Ziqing's voice was choked with sobs, as if he was very sad. We've already seen the report. The scarred ape-man interrupted Lu Ziqing's performance expressionlessly. No one can prove what you said. Blackstar is dead, the Black Marking's clansmen are dead, and even the Crocodile Demon and Sky Splitter Beast are dead. Dead men tell no tales. Who can prove that what you said is true? Lu Ziqing was tongue-tied as he cursed in his heart. Shouldn't you be the one finding evidence to prove that what I said is false? Why do I have to prove that what I said is true? It's like you want me to prove that I am myself. How do you want me to prove it? Looks like you can't find any evidence. The scarred ape-man nodded and turned to look at the other two ape-men beside him. He's suspicious. He's suspicious indeed. Agreed. The two ape-men nodded at the same time. It's enough that he's suspicious. Let's use his life to give the Black Mark King an explanation. The Scar Man nodded and then turned to look at Lu Ziqing. A cold smile appeared on his face. Originally, according to normal practice, such a thing wouldn't have happened. However, Black Star is dead, and the Black Mark King is very angry. We have to give the Black Mark King an explanation. Therefore, you can only die. Why? It was Lord Blackstar who sacrificed himself to save me. Although I'm very grateful to Lord Blackstar, I don't want to bear this reputation. Why did you do this? Although Lu Ziqing was still performing, he was very confused. Blackstar is dead, and the Black Mark King is very angry? What was all this about? You even want to use me as a scapegoat? What is this nonsense? Fine, I'll let you die with an explanation. Scarface shook his head. Even Black Star doesn't know that he's the descendant of the Black Mark King, even if what you said is true. However, the descendant of the Black Mark King actually sacrificed himself in order to save a lowly thing like you. If you don't die, who will? If I don't take your head, how can I appease the Black Mark King's anger? F***CK. Lu Ziqing was dumbfounded. No wonder Black Star said that he had the bloodline of the Red Ape Man. At this moment, Lu Ziqing had already imagined the whole sequence of events. Because Black Star's bloodline was not pure, he could not obtain the inheritance imprint of the Black Mark race through normal means. In order to give his illegitimate son a chance, the Black Mark King came up with this idea. He wanted him to find the Black Mark tribesman who was lost on the battlefield. All of this had been arranged by the Black Mark King. He had killed a member of the Black Seal tribe to help his illegitimate son. Without any evidence, even if others knew that it was the Black Mark King who did it, they couldn't do anything to him. But this good plan was ruined by Lu Ziqing's messing with it. How could the Black Mark King not be angry? So, the honest Black Star's acting over the years was all for nothing? The Black Mark King had already arranged everything for him? However, Lu Ziqing thought about it. If Black Star didn't have a reputation of being honest, the Black Mark King would have forgotten about this illegitimate son long ago. There was an even bigger possibility. Black Star's act of being honest was very likely ordered by the Black Mark King. Black Star had the reputation of being honest. This made it easier for him to be promoted to a higher race. Hence, the Black Mark King knew that Black Star was just pretending to be honest. Naturally, he wouldn't sacrifice himself to save someone. This also explained why the Black Mark King ordered the capture of Lu Ziqing. So, in the end, I can only run. Although he had already prepared to run, Lu Ziqing was still somewhat depressed. There was no chance of fighting head-on. The three black ape-men in front of him were all Sector Lord Stage 9, just one step away from the Immortal Realm. Plus, this was the Mercenary Alliance's headquarters in the Ganwu Empire. No matter how strong Lu Ziqing was, he couldn't kill his way out. Kid, there's no justice in this world. Even if what you said is true, it's meaningless. Scarface laughed coldly as he stood up. In this world, strength is everything. The will of an important person can decide the life and death of countless people. If the Blackmar King wants you dead, an ant like you can only accept your death. As he spoke, Scarface pressed a button on the table in front of him. Cheat! The door instantly opened, and a group of armed law enforcers walked in. Sir, what are your orders? The law enforcers rushed in and asked the three on stage. Take him down. Execute him. Scarface waved his hand and gave Lu Ziqing the death sentence. Yes. The law enforcers accepted the order and surrounded Lu Ziqing. Accept my death? I've never been the kind of person who would obediently wait for death. Lu Ziqing's eyes flashed coldly as killing intent surged in his heart. Senior Purple Gold, do you have any more annihilation lightning? It won't be that easy to take my life. I'll give you 10. Is that enough? Purple Gold Gourd let out a strange laugh, and with a sweep of 5 colors, it used up a portion of the materials collected from the corpses and refined 10 annihilation lightning for Lu Ziqing. 10 annihilation lightning? That should be enough. Lu Ziqing looked up at the 3 black ape men on the stage and sneered. I'm not an ant. I'm not a sheep that can be slaughtered. No one could decide my life and death. Feel the retaliation of an ant. Lu Ziqing roared furiously and threw out 10 annihilation golden thunderbolts. At the same time, a light flashed, and Lu Ziqing's figure disappeared without a trace. What's going on? This sudden turn of events shocked the 3 black ape men, and they stood up abruptly. As for the law enforcers who captured Lu Ziqing, they were dumbfounded. They didn't care much about the things that Lu Ziqing threw out. What kind of retaliation could a stellar-level ant have? They were shocked that Lu Ziqing was using teleportation. After saying so much, it was actually just an instant. The annihilation lightning flew out of his hand, and Lu Ziqing disappeared instantly. Then, kaboom! It was an earth-shattering sound. Boundlessly violent metal laws of nature violently erupted. 10 annihilation lightning exploded at the same time, and its power was terrifying. Boundless light of destruction suddenly rushed up, and the incomparably sharp metal law annihilated all things. In the blink of an eye, everything in the room was reduced to dust. The law enforcers, the 3 black ape men, and even the floor and walls turned into dust at this moment. The violent energy swept up like a bomb exploding. Kaboom! Under the horrified gazes of countless people, a large building of the Mercenary Alliance's headquarters in the Ganwu Empire collapsed just like that amidst this violent rumble. That's annihilation lightning? What happened? Snake Lady, who was planning to return to Black Dragon Mountain, turned her head and saw this scene and was shocked. Could it be Lu Ziqing? Just as the thought appeared, Snake Lady shook her head. That guy doesn't have such ability. Not long after boarding the spaceship, the communicator on his wrist vibrated. Pass down the order. Arrest Black Dragon Mountain beginner mercenary Lu Ziqing. At this moment, all the mercenaries in the universe received this message on their communicator. Did he really do it? Snake Lady was stunned. Even the Ganwu Empire's mercenary headquarters exploded, and he even ran away. This guy actually had such great ability. Chapter 972. Where is this? After the light from the teleportation array dissipated, Lu Ziqing found himself in a foreign place. In front of him was a dark brown land. Many purplish-black mushrooms were like pillars that supported the heavens, standing tall in front of him. This is the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, Black Tan Planet. The purple gold gourd laughed as it gave an unfamiliar answer. Black Dragon Mountain Empire? I'm already wanted by the Universe Mercenary Alliance. Why would I come here? Isn't this looking for death? Lu Ziqing's forehead was covered in cold sweat. Although he was angry and gave a hard hit, that was also, even a rabbit bites when cornered. The Mercenary Alliance's power spread throughout the universe. Lu Ziqing didn't have the confidence to beat them. Running to the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, could he escape? Don't worry. The purple gold gourd laughed without a care. Just adjust your body shape, change your appearance. How easy is that? But it's useless. Bloodline doesn't change. Soul characteristics don't change. One look, and I'll be able to tell. In this world, determining a person's identity doesn't depend on their appearance, only their soul and bloodline. Whether it's a bank account or an identity document, it's all based on the soul and bloodline characteristics. When Liu Ziqing registered as a mercenary, he had already exposed his soul and bloodline characteristics. If Liu Ziqing couldn't change his soul and bloodline characteristics, unless he roamed the wilderness his whole life, the moment he entered the city, he would be found out immediately. With me doing it, how easy would it be? The purple gold gourd laughed loudly. Just change your soul characteristics, change it to a human bloodline, then you can swagger around again. Human bloodline. Chimpanzees are all humans. The human category is too broad. Senior, it can only be a human bloodline like my appearance. Definitely not those messy beast men. Liu Ziqing hurriedly added a request. Black hair, black eyes, yellow skin, looks exactly like a Chinese. The purple gold gourd waved its hand, and a screen appeared. On the screen, a figure that looked exactly like a Chinese person on Earth appeared. This is one of the 10 strongest human bloodlines in the universe. They're called Manka people. Manka people? Liu Ziqing scratched his head. I've fought Manka people in the virtual world before. They weren't like this, right? The one with the silver eyes? There are also people on Earth with yellow hair and blue eyes. Aren't they Earthlings? The purple gold gourd's rebuttal left Liu Ziqing speechless. All right, Liu Ziqing shook his head helplessly. If that's the case, I won't have the bloodline of an Earthling. The path of cultivation is to constantly sublimate one's life. Tell me, after becoming an immortal, will it still be the same as before? According to this world, geno-essence could continuously increase one's genes. Even their genes have changed. Are they still the original Earthlings? This reason was even more powerful. Liu Ziqing couldn't find anything to say. Brat, don't take it for granted. The bloodline of the Manka people was of a higher grade than the bloodline of the Earthlings. The Manka people were born as planetary states. Childhood star level, youth universe level, adult domain lord level. The Manka people were so strong? When I was fighting in a virtual space, I didn't realize how powerful they were. Liu Ziqing was a little stunned. In a virtual space, he had fought against the Manka people. That Manka person who looked 18 or 19 years old was only a planetary state. That's because you were fighting against an infant. The purple gold gourd laughed loudly. The life cycle of the Manka people is definitely different from the Earthlings. Their infancy is over 1,000 years. 100,000 years to reach adulthood. After they reach adulthood, they have 1,000,000 years of life. Then what's the point of this bloodline? At the same time, if one's cultivation level can't surpass other races, then how can it be considered one of the strongest human bloodlines in the universe? Liu Ziqing didn't really understand the top 10 strongest human bloodlines in the universe. Born as a planetary state, and there's no bottleneck all the way to the domain lord level. Even without cultivation, one can reach the domain lord level. This isn't even a top bloodline in the entire universe. How many people are stuck at a level and can't break through? All right, I'll be a Manka person for once. To avoid being wanted by the Universe Mercenary Alliance, it was impossible not to change the bloodline's characteristics. Liu Ziqing helplessly accepted the Manka bloodline. Prepare yourself. I'm going to merge the Manka bloodline into your body. Countless corpses were collected in the Outer Region Wars. Among these corpses, there were also Manka people. The purple gold gourd had long taken out the Manka bloodline. Similarly, it was fresh red blood. The light revolved. The fresh red blood became a blood mist, enveloping Liu Ziqing's entire body. Countless fine blood mist seeped into Liu Ziqing's body through his pores. A painful howl. The intense pain caused Liu Ziqing to cry out uncontrollably. I forgot to remind you, it's a bit painful. The purple gold gourd laughed weirdly again. Rays of purple light revolved, almost like a cocoon of light wrapped around Liu Ziqing. As though he was being burned in a raging fire, Liu Ziqing felt as though his entire body was melting. In truth, he really did melt. Lu Ziqing's entire body became a pool of blood that was quickly flowing. The light revolved within the blood. A body was slowly being reconstructed. Bones, meridians, muscles, organs, a brand new body was being born within the light. When the radiance dissipated, the light cocoon dispersed, and a slender, tall, and strong body appeared. It was about 1.8 m tall, slightly taller than Lu Ziqing's original body. The face was handsome, the contours were tough, the appearance was somewhat similar to Lu Ziqing's original appearance, but more valiant. This is the Manka bloodline. Moving his hands and feet, feeling the situation of his body, Lu Ziqing discovered that his body strength was even more powerful. The defensive power and recovery ability were also stronger. Seems like Lu Ziqing flicked his finger. A trace of golden light flashed from his fingertip. A sharp golden chi tore through the air, tearing the sky apart. A huge purple mushroom in front was immediately cut in two by this trace of golden light. Seems like it's easier to drive the power of laws. After harvesting countless power of laws in the extraterritorial battlefield and refining into his body, Lu Ziqing had not used it once, because it was too difficult to drive the power of laws. Now, after switching to the Manka bloodline, Lu Ziqing discovered that it seemed to be much easier for him to drive the power of laws. Although it was still impossible to drive all of the power of laws, it was already very easy to drive a small portion. Do you think that the Manka bloodline is really a joke? With this foundation, your future path of cultivation will be smooth. The purple gold gourd smiled. Kid, have you thought of your new name? Chapter 973. New name. Lu Ziqing sighed helplessly. Senior Purple Golden Gourd. I've joined the Mount Shu Sword sect. Logically speaking, I should be given a Taoist name, right? Taoist name? The Purple Golden Gourd was stunned for a moment before immediately reacting. Because you're an intergenerational disciple, you don't have a real master, so you're not given a Taoist name. However, I can give you a Taoist name. Senior, please give me a Taoist name. The Purple Golden Gourd was a senior of the sect, so it was very appropriate for him to give him a Taoist name. Lu Ziqing naturally had no objections. Your name has the word Qing in it, so your generation will be considered as the Qing generation. I'll give you the name Qing Hezhinren. I hope you'll work hard in your cultivation and raise the prestige of our sect. Thank you for the name, Senior. I'll work hard in my cultivation and not let you down. The freshly minted Qing Hezhinren bowed, his Taoist robe fluttering in the wind, as if he had attained the Tao. Taoist robe? Lu Ziqing was stunned. Senior, isn't my outfit too conspicuous? His Taoist robe was exactly the same as before. Anyone who saw it would be suspicious. Even if they found out that he was not the original Lu Ziqing, they would associate him with the same outfit. How simple is it? I'll use the scales of the Sky Splitter Beast to refine you. The flesh of the Sky Splitter Beast had been refined into pills, but the scales were still intact. This was the perfect time to refine Lu Ziqing's Taoist robe. A moment later, a new set of clothes appeared in Lu Ziqing's hands. Leather boots, trousers, shirt, vest, windbreaker. Other than the white shirt, everything else was black. Wearing it felt like the Bund in the movies. All right, I've changed from an ancient costume to a Bund. Lu Ziqing shrugged and changed into the new outfit. With a wave of his hand, sword Qi crisscrossed, and his long hair turned into a lean short hair. Now, no one will recognize me. His appearance had changed. His bloodline had also changed. With the Purple Golden Gourd's help, his soul had also changed when it merged with the bloodline of the Manka people. The brand new Qing Hezhinren could make a scene openly again. Lu Ziqing's sword shot up into the sky. He flew up into the sky and headed towards the city of Haitan. Flying on a sword was something that any spirit reader could do. Moreover, Lu Ziqing had not revealed the azulite swords during their time in outer space, so there was even less to worry about. Mushroom City? He really lives up to his name. There was a mushroom in front of him. Its stem was several thousand kilometers in diameter, and its huge cap was like a continent. And this mushroom city was built on the cap of this mushroom. This city is really an eye-opener. Pressing down the sword light, Lu Ziqing stepped into the mushroom city. Arrest warrant. Black Dragon Mountain beginner mercenary, Lu Ziqing, First Order Stellar level. The culprit used the Annihilation Golden Lightning to murder Black Star and Scarlet Flame of the Black Seal race when they were completing their cleanup mission in the foreign battlefields. When he was being interrogated, he used the Annihilation Golden Lightning to blow up the Ganwu Empire's mercenary headquarters, killing 3 law enforcers and 10 law enforcers. The culprit has a teleportation artifact and Annihilation Golden Thunder. He is extremely vicious and cruel. The Mercenary Alliance has decided that he is wanted by the entire universe. There is information. The reward is a Sector Lord level energy weapon. Anyone who kills the culprit will be rewarded with a Sector Lord level secret technique, a bloodline increasing medicine, and a Sector Lord level energy weapon and armor. On the road in front of the city gate, a huge screen displayed Lu Ziqing's original appearance. Below it was a row of blood-red wanted words. Damn! Lu Ziqing saw this reward and jumped in fright. Is there a need to be so vicious? Sector Lord level elemental energy weapons and armors were all priceless. Sector Lord level secret techniques were used to comprehend loss. They were even more precious than energy weapons. Bloodline increasing medicine was a treasure that countless people fought for. Indeed, a vicious character. A muscular man wearing golden armor and carrying a huge sword on his shoulder laughed out loud with his golden eyes. A star-level guy killed 5 Sector Lords and 10 Domain Lords. He even blew up the Mercenary Alliance headquarters. That's too vicious. As he spoke, the Golden Armor Man laughed as he walked to Lu Ziqing's side and patted his shoulder. Little guy, let's go and have a drink. Lu Ziqing turned his head to look at the burly man in golden armor, somewhat baffled. Uncle, are we very close? Is there need to act so familiar? Oh. Seeing Lu Ziqing's expression, the golden-armored man slapped his head and laughed out loud. I forgot you're still a kid. You can't drink yet. Let's go eat. Uncle, who are you? Lu Ziqing couldn't take it anymore. Am I very close to you? Treating me to a meal and a drink. Kid, he's also from Manka. The purple gold gourd reminded. Oh, I'm called Taichio. Kid, stop wasting time. Let's go eat. Without any explanation, the golden-armored man grabbed Lu Ziqing and held him in his hand. With Lu Ziqing's strength, he couldn't even react in time. He didn't even have the chance to resist. AI, let me down. I'll walk by myself. Being held in someone's hands like this is simply a loss of face. Lu Ziqing was extremely depressed. My home is still quite far. I'll pull you faster. The golden-armored man laughed, and with a stomp of his feet, his entire body broke through the sky like lightning. He was really as fast as lightning. The sound waves that broke through the void burst out a series of roars. The golden-armored man's charge even shattered the air in front of him. The figure that broke through the air drew a long rainbow in the air and directly rushed out of the planet and into space. Lu Ziqing was already stunned. Oh my God, is there a need to be so fierce? Sitting in the spaceship is comfortable. Why must he be so fierce and use his body to cross the starry sky? Fortunately, Lu Ziqing's strength is not bad. The Manka people's physique is also strong enough. Being carried by the golden-armored man across the starry sky, there was no problem. We're here. The golden-armored man chuckled as he took a step forward, instantly landing on a massive planet. This light golden planet seems to be a metal planet. There is nothing on it. The entire planet is a huge metal lump. Bringing Lu Ziqing to the door of a simple and crude golden house, the golden-armored man released Lu Ziqing. Let go, little guy. I'll treat you to a meal. Walking through the door, there is a huge space inside. It is also very simple and crude, as if this guy slashed out a hole with his sword. With a wave of his hand, he threw out 100-meter-long giant snake. A flame appeared in the golden-armored man's hand and instantly roasted the giant snake. Little guy, eat. Chopping off a section of the snake's body with his sword, the The golden armored man grabbed it and threw it to Lu Ziqing. Little guy, where did you come from? It has been many years since I've seen someone of the same race here. Eh. Lu Ziqing's heart tightened. How should I answer? Should I say that I am a fake? Will this guy cut me down with his sword? Chapter 974. Brat, you can just randomly pick a place to go. The purple golden gourd laughed. No matter what you say, he won't look into it. Hearing this, Lu Ziqing heaved a sigh of relief. Since the purple golden gourd said so, there should be no problem. Uncle, my name is Qing He. I'm from Kangling Galaxy. Lu Ziqing did not know much about the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. When he was participating in the extraterritorial mission, he passed by Kangling Galaxy. Qing He, your surname is Qing? A look of shock appeared on Tai Chio's face. Two beams of golden light shot out from his golden eyes and shone on Lu Ziqing. Boom! Being stimulated by the golden light, the blood in Lu Ziqing's body surged. The five elements of gold, wood, water, fire, and earth intertwined and turned into a rainbow that shot up to the sky from Lu Ziqing's head. Dichio bloodline, Qing Tian clan. Tai Chio exclaimed and stood up. He quickly waved his hand to cover up the strange phenomenon that shot out from Lu Ziqing's head. What are the old men of Dichio up to again? How dare they let the direct descendant of Qing Tian clan out for training? They didn't even send a guard. If anything happens, you'll be crying. Tai Chio roared angrily, then looked at Lu Ziqing with a look of relief. Thank goodness nothing happened. You're still so young, and they let you out? Are the old men of Dichio still playing the same old tricks? This, Lu Ziqing was tongue-tied and did not know how to answer. What bloodline of Dichio? What Qing Tian clan? What did he know? Your Highness Qing He. Tai Chio bowed to Lu Ziqing. We can't interfere with Dichio's matters. It's not convenient for me to interfere with your training. However, if you need my help, please let me know. Your Highness? Lu Ziqing was stunned. He remembered that when Black Star saw the red-haired ape, he also called him Your Highness. Perhaps it was a form of address for the superior race. Kid, this guy is an immortal. In a small place like Black Dragon Mountain, an immortal is the limit. With your status and this Iron Hill, you can do whatever you want in Black Dragon Mountain. The purple gold gourd reminded Lu Ziqing in time. Immortal? Lu Ziqing was shocked. This rough man was actually an undying? In a small place like the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, an undying being was already a peak existence. Uncle, I will be training in the Black Dragon Mountain Empire for a period of time. If there is anything, I will come and ask for your help. Lu Ziqing didn't have much to do now. The only thing he had to do was to deal with the Mercenary Alliance's bounty. There was no way he could let Iron Chio do this. Your Highness is too polite. Tai Chio took out a palm-sized copper token and handed it to Lu Ziqing. Your Highness, this is my communication talisman. If you need anything, just let me know. Thank you, Uncle. Naturally, Lu Ziqing would not let go of a free high-level bodyguard. He had finished speaking, but the meal continued. It was unknown what kind of giant snake it was, but after being roasted by Iron Hill, it tasted delicious. After Lu Ziqing ate a few mouthfuls, the more he ate, the more delicious he felt. After swallowing the snake meat, it was as if the blood in his body was surging. He was full of vitality and energy. Unknowingly, this large snake was actually eaten up by Lu Ziqing just like that. That. Until now, Lu Ziqing only realized that he had eaten up such a huge snake bit by bit. I've actually become a glutton? Dichio bloodline. Qing Tian clan is indeed extraordinary. Iron Chio looked at Lu Ziqing with admiration. The more you eat, the faster you grow. Your Highness will soon cross the childhood stage and enter the adolescent stage. Other than your Dichio bloodline, no one else can grow so fast. Hee. Lu Ziqing laughed embarrassedly. Uncle, thank you for your hospitality. Qing, he has to leave too. It's not much of a hospitality. Iron Chio laughed and waved his hand. Your Highness training, Iron Chio can't interfere. However, Your Highness, you must be careful. Call me if you need anything. Qing, he understands. Thank you, uncle. Lu Ziqing clasped his hands and bowed. Then a light flashed, and Lu Ziqing disappeared. The art of teleportation? Iron Xiao was enlightened. No wonder the old man of Di Qiu dared to let him out. He has this ability. Your Highness Qing, he is not simple. After the light flashed, Lu Ziqing's figure returned to the central region of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. He returned to the Horned Dragon Star, where he had been before. This is considered a revisit to an old place. Lu Ziqing chuckled and swaggered into Serpent City in an ostentatious way. Lu Ziqing's arrest warrant was hung everywhere in the Horned Dragon City. Unfortunately, even if Lu Ziqing delivered himself to the door, no one would recognize him. All right, Senior Purple Gold, what is the Qing Tian clan bloodline of Di Qiu? Lu Ziqing was curious about the Manka bloodline that he had integrated. How would I know what the Di Qiu bloodline is? I only purified the Manka bloodline that I collected from the extraterritorial battlefield. It is very likely that the Manka bloodline, after purification, is the Di Qiu bloodline. The Purple Gold Gourd was telling the truth. It did not do much research on the Manka people. How could it know what the Manka people were called internally? For example, the Huaxia people on Earth had dozens of different ethnic groups. Who would know what ethnic group the Huaxia people were from if they were not from the inside? I can't use my previous identity anymore. I need to register a new one. To travel in the universe, one needed a virtual universe account, a bank account, and an identity card. These are necessary. Lu Ziqing was quite familiar with the Horned Dragon City. He arrived at the government building with ease. Lu Ziqing walked into the household registration office and reported his purpose. You want to apply for an identity card? The staff who received Lu Ziqing was stunned when they heard this. Other than newborns, no adult had ever applied for an identity card. This was because these things were already determined at birth. There is no such thing as losing one's identity card. The characteristics of the soul and the bloodline were the best identification. You have never applied for an identity card? A female staff member with a pair of cat ears widened her eyes in disbelief. However, there are all kinds of strange things in this world. It was not strange for someone to not have an identity card. The lady with cat ears shook her head and pressed the detector. Beep, beep, beep. After the light wave scanned Lu Ziqing's body, the result was immediately displayed. Bloodline characteristics, secret. Soul characteristics, secret. The lady with cat ears was scared out of her wits. Other than someone with an unimaginably high status, who else would have such a result? Your Highness, even if you want to joke, you don't have to scare a nobody like me. Chapter 975. The identity registration went smoothly. The staff asked, Your Highness, what name would you like to use? After Lu Ziqing reported the name Qing he immediately completed the identity registration. Other than the name, they did not ask for anything else and did not fill in anything. It was confidential anyway. The identity of a Manka person is quite useful. Lu Ziqing laughed. Under the escort of the staff, he smiled and said, Thank you, and then walked out of the office building. You are indeed a highness born with a noble background. Even small people like us have to say thank you and not put on airs. This is true nobility. The cat-eared woman's eyes were shining. Don't be so smitten with such a person like you. Another staff member poured a bucket of cold water on him. I, Lu Ziqing, am out in the open again. He purposely walked around the base of the Mercenary Alliance in Horned Dragon Star. Everywhere he went, there was respect. Lu Ziqing laughed. So what if I am wanted? You can't even recognize me standing in front of you. The bloodline of Di Qiu is a secret. Normal Manka people do not have such treatment. The Purple Golden Gourd laughed. Kid, what are your plans next? Go back to Earth and take a look. I have been out for so long, it's time to go back and take a look. Lu Ziqing smiled. Go back and take a look. I guess I won't have time to go back to Earth for a long time. Senior, I plan to continue to be a mercenary in the universe for a while. That works too. The Purple Golden Gourd laughed. A light flashed, and the teleportation portal was activated. Lu Ziqing returned to Earth in an instant. The teleportation portal is really convenient. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ziqing returned from the distant starry sky to the residence of Mount Amei on Earth. It has been more than 3 years. I wonder how Hong and Thunder God are doing. However, Lu Ziqing's current appearance was quite different from the original Lu Ziqing. If they met, Hong and Thunder God would not be able to recognize him, right? Senior, do you have a way to restore me to my original appearance? To meet his old friends, he could only use his original appearance. Lu Ziqing placed his hopes on the purple golden gourd. Very simple. A purple light lingered and Lu Ziqing's appearance changed back to his original appearance. Thank you, Senior. Lu Ziqing said a word of thanks, and a green streak of light shot out. He flew on his sword and rushed towards Hong's dojo of Limit's headquarters. Lu Ziqing suddenly, he remembered his communicator on Earth, and he quickly took it out. He took out his communicator, and a series of notifications rang out. There's news from Hong, Thunder God, in Luo Feng? Lu was Luo Feng. Could it be that his family had used his communicator to send him a message? Come. After opening Luo Feng's message, Lu Ziqing was stunned. Luo Feng didn't die. I haven't appeared for a few years. Let's greet them first. Picking up his communicator, Lu Ziqing sent a message to Hong, Thunder God, and Luo Feng. I just finished my closed-door training and came out. You came just in time. We have trouble. Lu Ziqing just sent out the message when he received a call from Hong. Trouble? What trouble is there on Earth? Lu Ziqing was stunned. He turned around and rushed towards Jiangnan Base. The green rainbow pierced through the sky. After a while, Lu Ziqing arrived at Jiangnan Base. Shu Mountain Sword Hero. Shu Mountain Sword Hero. The iconic sword light pierced through the air. The people of Jiangnan Base cheered when they saw the sword light. Ziqing, over here. Near the West Lake, Luo Feng drove the golden evading shuttle towards Lu Ziqing. Luo Feng, you're still alive. That's great. Lu Ziqing laughed loudly as he welcomed him. The two of them landed in front of a huge castle near West Lake. This is clearly the style of the Black Dragon Mountain Villa. Luo Feng also went to the Black Dragon Mountain Starfield. Seeing this extraterrestrial-style castle, Lu Ziqing looked at Luo Feng suspiciously. It's been a few years. What's the situation? It's a long story. Come in first. Luo Feng laughed bitterly as he brought Lu Ziqing into the castle. Along the way, Lu Ziqing saw a few extraterrestrial fighters in the huge castle. I couldn't tell that you've built up a family business. First an extraterrestrial castle, then an extraterrestrial guard. These few years, Luo Feng seems to have made quite a name for himself. I received the inheritance of the Yun Mo Planet Master. A while ago, I took a ship to Horndragon Star. Luo Feng said. He suddenly turned to look at Lu Ziqing. Speaking of which, it's quite interesting. I saw a guy who looked exactly like you on Horndragon Star. He's also called Lu Ziqing. He's currently wanted by the Universe Mercenary Alliance. If I didn't know that you were in closed-door training in a mountain, I would have thought that it was you. Lu Ziqing helplessly opened his mouth. He shook his head and laughed bitterly. Actually, that was me. As they spoke, the two of them walked into the castle's great hall. Ziqing is here. That's great. Seeing Lu Ziqing walk in, Hong and Thunder God smiled and stood up to welcome him. Ziqing, your strength. Star level? You're already a star level? Hong's temperament and cultivation were the deepest amongst them. His senses were the sharpest. He immediately noticed that Lu Ziqing's strength was very different from before. After a few years of closed-door training, I finally gained something. Lu Ziqing smiled and nodded. That's great. Now our chances of winning have increased by a bit. Hearing Lu Ziqing's words, Luo Feng and the other two were pleasantly surprised. Chances of winning? Just what happened? Lu Ziqing looked at everyone in confusion. Come, sit down and talk. Luo Feng gestured with his hand. Everyone sat down in the living room. Ziqing, what we were worried about before has happened. Earth has been exposed to the extraterrestrials. Hong looked at Lu Ziqing with a serious expression. Just a few days ago, a group of space adventurers accidentally discovered a wormhole that leads to Earth and broke into Earth. Yes, Luo Feng continued. 2 days ago, this group of people attacked my castle. Even though they were captured by the black Mongolian guards I bought from Horndragon Star. However, behind this group of people, there's a family called Luo Lan Mountain. Luo Lan Mountain family? A place like Earth, what's there for them to target? Or is it purely to capture slaves? Lu Ziqing didn't know much about the Luo Lan Mountain family. He wasn't too clear about the family situation. The Golden Horned Beast and Bermuda's ship, these are their targets. Thunder God clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. If we can't get past this, our descendants will become slaves. Chapter 976. What's the situation with the Luo Lan Mountain family? Do you have any information? Lu Ziqing looked up at the other three and asked. We've interrogated the captives and checked the information on the ship. Through the virtual universe network, we've found some information. Luo Feng handed over a display and opened the information on the Luo Lan Mountain family. Black Dragon Mountain Empire's subordinate country? Kalo Empire's third family? Flipping through the information, Lu Ziqing discovered that this Luo Lan Mountain family was very normal. Kalo Empire's Luo Lan Mountain family, in the vast universe, could only be considered an unremarkable little family. The leader of the family, Luo Lan Mountain, was only a universe level 9. Lu Ziqing thought, I've even tricked a bunch of sector lords. What's a universe level? However, to the current Earth, the Luo Lan Mountain family was a huge power that couldn't be compared to. Luo Lan Mountain himself was a universe level 9, and his disciples had 6 universe levels. The entire Luo Lan Mountain family territory had 1,000 life planets. The family army, the Luo Lan Guards, had 8,000 star level 9s. 7 universe levels. 8,000 star level 9s. Of these people, any one of them would be enough to wipe out the current Earth. Of course, other than Lu Ziqing. Just this Luo Lan Mountain family has scared you so much. Lu Ziqing laughed loudly, casually tossing aside the display in his hand. How big of a matter? Leave it to me. Hearing Lu Ziqing's words, the three exchanged glances, not regaining their senses for a while. Ziqing, don't tell me you don't know the terror of a universe level? Even though you've reached the star level, the Luo Lan Mountain family only has 8,000 star level 9s. Even if only one comes, it's not something we can deal with. Thunder God blinked his eyes, extending his hand to touch Lu Ziqing's forehead to see if he had a fever and was speaking nonsense. I'm really not joking. Lu Ziqing slapped away Thunder God's hand, smiling at the group. Lu Ziqing suddenly rose up, my strength growing like a rocket. Don't you find it strange? That means Ziqing is like Luo Feng. You've received the inheritance of a great being? Hong's eyes gleamed, his face filled with surprise as he looked at Lu Ziqing. I've always been curious. How did you train to grow so quickly? However, this is your secret. It's not good for me to ask. Why? Are you planning to reveal your secret? It's not that mysterious. Lu Ziqing released the azulite swords with a wave of his hand and placed them on the table before him. You'll understand once you see them. These 2 swords, the 3 of them stare at the twin swords. Ziying, Qingsuo, this name, F***CK. It couldn't be, right? Are you really a swordsman of Mount Shu? Shu Mountain swordsman? A Mei sect? Isn't this a fairy tale? The 3 of them recognized the words Ziying and Qingsu when they saw the inscriptions on the swords. They immediately became dumbfounded. First, there were aliens, then there was a spaceship. Now, a legendary sword immortal had suddenly appeared. This made everyone feel an inexplicable sense of disharmony. Aliens have appeared. Was it strange for a sword immortal to appear? Luo Feng is a spirit reader. Isn't the controller of a spirit reader the same as Shushan's imperial sword technique? Lu Ziqing chuckled. Think about it. If the ancient people saw Luo Feng using a spirit weapon, wouldn't they think he was a sword immortal? Of course, Lu Ziqing would definitely not mention Taishang Lao Jun and the purple gold gourd. After all, that was too legendary. That's true. Hearing Lu Ziqing's explanation, the three of them smiled and nodded. In that case, the immortals of Mount Shu Sword sect ascended. I'm afraid they left Earth and entered space. So, Ziqing, you can contact the Shushan seniors who have already ascended? Luo Feng and the other two looked at Lu Ziqing with hopeful faces. If they could really contact the legendary Shushan Sword Immortal, wouldn't the mere Luolan Mountain family be crushed with a finger? I have indeed contacted an elder. He can't be considered a senior of the Shushan Sword sect. However, that doesn't matter. This senior is an immortal. Immortal Luo Feng, Thunder God, and Hong jumped up in shock. What was the concept of an immortal? Luo Feng's dead master, the master of Yun Mo planet, was also an immortal. That was already unimaginably powerful. An immortal with a breath could destroy the Luolan Mountain family several times. Actually, there's no need for this senior to make a move. Lu Ziqing revealed an honest smile, turning to look at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, you've been a Horn Dragon Star. You've also seen the wanted poster of the Universe Mercenary Alliance. In fact, the wanted person is me. Luo Feng was shocked speechless. Hong and Thunder God were also shocked speechless. After Luo Feng returned, he told the two of them about the wanted Lu Ziqing as a piece of news. At that time, Luo Feng, Thunder God, and Hong were still joking that Lu Ziqing is still on Earth, but he's already wanted by the entire universe. They didn't even think about Lu Ziqing. After all, killing 5 sector lords, killing 10 domain lords, blowing up a building of the Mercenary Alliance, such a ferocious battle record. How could Lu Ziqing have anything to do with it? Now that they suddenly heard Lu Ziqing admitted himself, that he was really the one who did it, this gave the three of them quite a shock. I used the teleportation array left behind by the elders of the sect and went to the universe. I didn't think that the universe was such an unreasonable place. Lu Ziqing laughed and shook his head. Hee. If it wasn't for the elders' help, I really might have died there. You're vicious enough. The three of them laughed and gave him a big thumbs up. I'm wanted by the Universe Mercenary Alliance. I had no choice but to change my appearance with the help of the elders. I'm now called Qing He. In the future, when you go to the universe, don't call me by the wrong name. Saying this, Lu Ziqing waved his hand and revealed his current appearance. Wow, your current appearance is even more handsome than your original appearance. The three of them laughed weirdly. They had even more confidence in the elder that Lu Ziqing spoke of. In fact, the so-called elder was the purple gold gourd. The Mankatai Chio could only be considered as a scapegoat. In the future, in the universe, I can only use this appearance temporarily. All of us will definitely have to go out in the future. I can't beat the Mercenary Alliance right now. You guys better not expose my true identity. Lu Ziqing reminded them. Actually, Luo Feng and the other two weren't despicable people. They wouldn't betray Lu Ziqing. They were just afraid that they would accidentally reveal something that would be troublesome. Don't worry. We know the severity of this. Thunder God patted his chest and agreed. Now, that Luo Lan Mountain family, how do you plan to deal with them? Lu Ziqing already said that he didn't need the elders to deal with them. They couldn't be like the Mercenary Alliance and directly blow up the Luo Lan Mountain, right? You guys captured the Luo Lan Mountain family's people, right? Their ship was also captured by you guys. Seeing the three of them nod, Lu Ziqing laughed. Then that's easy to deal with. Let that Luo Lan Mountain family member turn on his communication device. I just need to say a few words to Luo Lan Mountain. Just say a few words, and that's it. The three of them exchanged glances, not knowing what Lu Ziqing was planning. Chapter 977. You are Bulo Luo Lan Shan? Luo Feng's guard walked into the prison and took out the Luo Lan Shan family member from the castle's prison and brought him before Lu Ziqing. Lu Ziqing's face was full of smiles as he looked at this 2M tall man wearing a silver battle armor. Lu Ziqing's expression was very amiable. However, this was a type of amiability that was high and mighty. It was like a king looking down on his subjects. Even though he was smiling, it still carried a sense of rejection. Yes, being stared at by Lu Ziqing, Bulow couldn't help but lower his head. This is your ship. There should be a communication device here that can contact Luo Lanshan, right? Open it. I want to speak to Luo Lanshan. His eyes flashed with a rainbow light. A huge law pressure caused Bulow to break out in cold sweat, his heart pounding. This Earth, just what did it come from? It was clearly an aboriginal planet. How did such a terrifying person appear? Yes, Lord. Bulow Luo Lanshan hurriedly bowed, his attitude extremely respectful. You should call me Your Majesty. Lu Ziqing sat on the command platform, lifting a glass of red wine and gently swirling it, a faint smile on his face. The pressure of the laws and the arrogant attitude made Buluo even more nervous. This person's strength was obviously only at the star level. However, he was able to use law energy. Such a situation would only appear on those people with frightening backgrounds. Yes, Your Majesty. Bulow hurriedly bowed respectfully towards Lu Ziqing. Go! Lightly waving his hand, Lu Ziqing lifted his wine glass and took a sip. His attitude was full of poise. This caused Luo Feng and the other two standing at the side to curse in their hearts. Ding! Bulow walked in front of the communication device and entered a long string of words, dialing Luo Lanshan's communication device. Do! A long ring sounded. A screen appeared on the wall of the control room. On the screen, a middle-aged man with a pair of red eyes, two pointy and long ears that extended over his head appeared on the screen. Who made the emergency call? This middle-aged man saw the situation through the screen. At this moment, within the control room of the ship, Bulow bowed respectfully. However, the young man sitting on the podium was leisurely sipping his red wine. He didn't even raise his head. The three people standing behind the youth were similarly expressionless. These people actually had no respect for him, the founder of the Luo Lan Mountain family, a universe level 9 warrior. This situation made Luo Lanshan extremely unhappy. Buluo Luolan Mountain greets the old ancestor. Buluo bowed to the Luolan Mountain on the light screen. Burrow Luolan Mountain? My descendant? Luo Lanshan frowned. Speak, what's the matter? Also, who were they? How dare you listen in on the communication of my Luo Lan Mountain family? This. Reporting to old ancestor. It's His Highness who wants to speak to you. Buluo quickly explained the reason and turned to look at Lu Ziqing. Your Highness? Luo Lanshan raised his eyebrows. He was surprised. The title, Your Highness, was not a casual one. Other than the inferior races addressing the superior races as Your Highness, only the heirs of the top powers in the universe, or those who were heavily nurtured, could be addressed as such. This youth was actually a Your Highness? Luo Lanshan looked at Buluo, his eyes filled with questions. Buluo immediately nodded, solemnly nodding. Your Highness, what orders do you have? Luo Lanshan looked at Lu Ziqing, smiling and nodding. It's not a big matter. Lu Ziqing put down the wine glass in his hand, extending his hand to knock on the command desk, smiling. This clansman of yours has discovered an aboriginal planet called Earth. This place is not bad. I want it. Do you have any objections? Earth? Aboriginal planet? Luo Lanshan creased his eyebrows. Buluo had discovered Earth and reported the situation to the Luo Lanshan family. The golden horned beast, the automaton ship, these sorts of huge treasures had naturally been reported to Luo Lanshan. Earth itself was nothing much. However, the golden horned beast and the automaton ship, these couldn't be let go. Your Highness is making things difficult for me. Luo Lanshan shook his head. Earth is an important resource of our Luo Lanshan family. However, I have no way to gift it to you. Hee. Lu Ziqing laughed, extending a finger and shaking it at Luo Lanshan. I think you've made a mistake. I'm not here to discuss with you. I'm just informing you. I've taken a liking to Earth. It's mine. HM. Luo Lan Shan's eyebrows creased, his eyes filled with rage. You're just a Your Highness of unknown origins, yet you dare to be so arrogant? Just as he was about to explode, Luo Lan Shan heard Lu Ziqing speak again. My name is Qing He. My identity number in the Black Dragon Mountain Empire is XXX. Take a look first. After casually reporting a string of identity numbers, Lu Ziqing picked up the wine glass again and leisurely tasted the wine. Qinghe? Luo Lan Shan creased his eyebrows, half believing, half doubtfully, entering the number and searching. Authority level not high enough. Unable to search. Warning. The information you're trying to search is a high-level secret of the Human Alliance. Your identity has been recorded. The Human Alliance's Internal Affairs Department will interrogate you. Please truthfully report the reason why you're searching for this information. If not, you will be treated as a spy by the Human Alliance's Internal Affairs Department and will be executed on the spot. Just as he entered his identity number, a series of blood-red words appeared on the smart terminal. Seeing this notification, Luo Lan Shan was so scared that his body trembled. His face turned pale. Oh my God! Just searching for his identity is treated as spying on the Human Alliance's secrets, and he's being interrogated by the Internal Affairs Department. Just how big is this person's background? Cold sweat rolled down his body. Luo Lan Shan quickly bowed towards Lu Ziqing, begging for mercy. Your Highness, please spare my life. Please spare my life. Searching for his identity means being interrogated. What if during the interrogation, this Your Highness says something bad? Then how can Luo Lan Shan still be alive? Don't be so nervous. I won't do anything to you. Lu Ziqing waved his hand. Go down. As long as you don't have any ideas about Earth, I won't bother with you. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Your Highness. Luo Lan Shan heaved a sigh of relief. After recording Lu Ziqing's words, when the Internal Affairs Department interrogates him, he'll be able to pass. As for Earth, is this a place that the Luo Lan Shan family can even think about? Your Highness, then, I'll take my leave first. Bowing, Luo Lan Shan wiped his cold sweat and turned off the communicator. Until now his face was still pale. Luo Feng, Thunder God, and Hong were all stunned. Did he really solve the problem with just one sentence? What exactly is Lu Ziqing's background? The Mount Shu Sword Sect actually has such a huge power in the universe. No one dares to offend them. Chapter 978. Actually, Lu Ziqing himself was confused too. He did not expect Luo Lan Shan to be scared out of his wits just by telling him his identity. Originally, Lu Ziqing wanted to use his secret identity number to fool him and see how the situation goes. If it still did not work, he planned to use Tai Chio's name. Young man, I have checked on the Qing Tian clan of Dichio's bloodline. This is the strongest bloodline of the Mancha people. The Qing Tian clan of Dichio's bloodline is extremely rare even among the Mancha people. The purple golden gourd displayed the information of Dichio's bloodline in Lu Ziqing's mind. Young man, do you see this? Dichio's bloodline is naturally compatible with the laws of the universe and possesses exceptional talents. It is the target of assassination by the other races and also a talent that is heavily protected by the humans. Therefore, when you registered your identity, everything was confidential. Your identity is definitely not something that anyone could check. Luo Lan Shan must have been warned when he checked your identity. Is that so? Lu Ziqing did not know whether to laugh or cry. Senior Purple Golden Gourd actually gave me such a powerful bloodline. Actually, the Purple Golden Gourd only purified the bloodline of the Mancha people. But this pure bloodline, combined with the power of laws in his body, became the Dichio bloodline. Although it was a counterfeit, his Dichio bloodline was more perfect than the real Dichio bloodline. The Dichio bloodline of the Mancha people only had the laws of the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. But Lu Ziqing had all the laws. So he passed this test just like that. Back at the castle, Luo Feng, god of thunder, and Hong looked at Lu Ziqing and felt that he was too mysterious. Lu Ziqing smiled embarrassedly. After the elders in the sect gave me a makeover, my bloodline is a little special, and I have some background. I'm afraid it's not just a little background. Yeah, look at how Luo Lanshan was scared. His face turned pale. He's still sweating. The three of them teased Lu Ziqing. Stop teasing me, all right? Lu Ziqing shook his head helplessly, and then his expression became serious. Everyone, now that Earth is no longer in danger, it's time for us to go out and experience the world. That's true, Hong sighed. Our current strength is still too weak. On Earth, not only are the resources limited, but the opportunities to gain experience are also limited. It's time to go out and explore. My ship can depart at any time. Luo Feng had already been to the Black Dragon Mountain star field once, and was extremely interested in the vast universe. I still have some troubles with me, so I can't go with you. Lu Ziqing shook his head with a wry smile. Whether it was his current bloodline of Dichio or his previous fugitive status, they were all troublesome. Moving around with Luo Feng and the others would bring them a lot of inconvenience. I'm fine. Once we register our accounts in the virtual universe, we can contact them anytime. Hong smiled and waved his hand. All right. Lu Ziqing smiled and nodded. Then I'll take my leave first. After leaving Luo Feng's castle, Lu Ziqing rode on his sword and soared into the sky. He found a secluded corner and instantly activated the teleportation array to leave Earth. Appearing at the outskirts of Horn Dragon Star, Lu Ziqing once again stepped into Horn Dragon City. Good news! Good news! Just as he entered the city, Lu Ziqing saw that on the huge screens hanging all over the city, the information displayed was no longer a wanted poster. Instead, it was a brilliant figure. It was a tall and muscular figure with a pair of sharp horns on his head. Below this figure, there was a series of huge golden words. An exceptional genius from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's fantastic rock galaxy. Lonka Clan's Wu Ji, with the power of the star level, passed the fourth island of the Fantasy Sea. Below this row of words, there was a series of introductions regarding this Lonka clan youth. The entire article was full of praises. Fantasy Sea? The one in the virtual universe? Lu Ziqing saw this good news and was slightly stunned. The Fantasy Sea actually has such a big name? Passing the fourth island, and one is considered an exceptional genius? In the virtual universe, Lu Ziqing also struggled for a period of time. However, his thoughts were all on the virtual battles and did not pay much attention to the Fantasy Sea. That is a place that tests one's temperament. The purple gold gourd smiled and said, "This place is also useful for you. The path of a swordsman, the heart of the sword is bright. One's temperament is also very important." Temperament, heart of the sword, and sword intent. Lu Ziqing nodded. My sword techniques have already reached the pinnacle of perfection. I need to train my heart of the sword and condense my sword intent. This Fantasy Sea is worth a trip. After finding a hotel in Horn Dragon City, Lu Ziqing booked a room with the highest level of security. Lying on the bed, he relaxed his mind and entered the virtual universe through the purple gold gourd. Changing my identity and entering the virtual universe again, this is quite interesting. Lu Ziqing laughed loudly, as though he was cheating on a test, and no one was able to catch him. I entered the virtual universe from the Black Dragon Mountain star field and appeared in the Black Dragon Mountain. There's still a long way to go to the Fantasy Sea. On the virtual continent of the virtual universe, there were teleportation arrays to various places, just like playing a game. Stepping on the teleportation array, he was teleported from the Black Dragon Mountain to the Fantasy Sea. It was a pitch-black ocean. Black waves surged, covering the sky and earth. Waves of waves hit the reefs, splashing tinshui beads and scattering them like rain. Lu Ziqing stood on a cliff by the sea. Looking up at the surging ocean, his mind was calm. Heart Lake of Consciousness. Shu Mountain's training. The soul space is called the Heart Lake of Consciousness. Essentially, it means that the heart is constantly changing, just like this surging ocean. A smile appeared on Lu Ziqing's face. Ever since I started cultivating qi refinement, I have been calming my heart. I want to see how many islands I can reach. Leaping up, Lu Ziqing rode on his sword and rushed towards the first island. Mist surged in front of him, blurring his vision. Unknowingly, Lu Ziqing returned to Earth. Ziqing, you've grown up. How about Mom introduce you to someone? What are you doing? You're not even 20 yet. Why are you talking about someone? It was still May's city base. It was still that familiar home. However, he was no longer alone in this home. Instead, his parents were here. It was like a dream, but also like the current situation was real. Here, Lu Ziqing didn't lose his parents. His ordinary life had its ups and downs, his father's beatings, and his mother's cries. It was this kind of dullness that seemed unusually real. Was the experience of his parents' death a dream, or was this experience a dream? The affairs of the mortal world are the most disturbing to the human heart. Lu Ziqing sighed. Of course, all of this was fake. Cut off all barriers, break free from the shackles, see through reality, illusion, and sword heart. A sword light soared into the sky, slashing toward the illusory parents, toward the illusory May City, and toward his heart. The illusion shattered, and Lu Ziqing officially stepped onto the first island. Not taking the usual path, everything was in the super chic life. Chapter 979. There were 21 islands in the Ocean of Illusions. The first to third islands corresponded to the star level. The fourth and fifth islands corresponded to the universe level. The sixth and seventh islands corresponded to the domain lord level, and the eighth and ninth islands corresponded to the sector lord level. This corresponded to the possibility of passing. In fact, it was very difficult to pass the sixth island. The further one went, the harder it got. Many famous geniuses were defeated on the sixth and seventh islands. The ninth island was the limit of the sector lord level. Almost no sector lord could break through the ninth island and reach the 10th island. The Lonka race youth, who was able to reach the 4th island as a star realm, was already a great talent. My heart is like a sword. Those who disturb my heart and obstruct my path, I will kill them with my sword. Along the way, illusions appeared one after another. It was endless. From a young age until now, everything he had experienced, every moment, every different thought, every different choice could give birth to all kinds of different lives. Every life was very real. It was the mundane affairs of the mortal world, household chores and daily necessities. However, such a mundane and real life was the best way to wear down one's Tao heart. Kill, kill, kill. With a slash of his sword, he severed all barriers and the distracting thoughts in his heart. As the layer's illusions were destroyed, the distracting thoughts in his heart were also severed. Break the mundane, cut the mundane, cleanse the heart with his sword. The sword light was like water. His heart was clear. The layers of illusions were destroyed. His heart was clear and untainted. Unknowingly, Lu Ziqing had already reached the 6th island. This was a place that only the domain lord level could enter. Other than the illusions, there's also a huge spiritual pressure. Just as he stepped on the 6th island, Lu Ziqing felt a heavy mountain pressing down on his heart, making it hard for him to breathe. Kaboom! There was a loud sound as though a spaceship had broken through the void. The illusions had been activated. The illusions in front of him were scenes from the extraterritorial battlefield. Lu Ziqing seemed to have returned to the extraterritorial battlefield and followed Black Star to find the Black Mark race. This time, when Lu Ziqing was dealing with Black Star, when he threw out the 3rd Annihilation Golden Lightning, the teleportation formation stopped working. Ha! Kid, do you think an ant like you is worthy of my assistance? The sooner I kill you, the sooner I can go back to find Master. The purple gold gourd burst into laughter. The endless golden light of annihilation swept over. Lu Ziqing only felt that his entire body was being annihilated by this golden light bit by bit. Senior Zijin. This was Lu Ziqing's biggest worry. Would the purple gold gourd leave me? Will you give up on me? Would he kill me on purpose, The moment this thought appeared, his heart was shaken. The golden light of annihilation shot up and swept across the world. Its might suddenly skyrocketed to the limit, as if even the heavens and earth were about to explode into dust. This was the real function of the Sea of Illusions. The human alliance did not set up the Sea of Illusion to set up a challenge. The real purpose was to let all the testers get to know themselves again in the illusion. Through the illusion, he could magnify the distracting thoughts in his heart and feel his inner demons. Thus, he could cut off his inner demons and purify his soul. When the golden light of annihilation was about to drown Lu Ziqing, a sword chime sounded from the bottom of his heart. Clang! A sword rose from the heart lake. A calm lake like a mirror, cleansing the heart with a single sword. I didn't know that there was such an inner demon hidden in my heart. Lu Ziqing smiled and raised his head. His eyes were pure and firm. If not for the Mount Shu legacy, if not for Senior Zijin, I would still be a high school student reading novels at home. Not only am I ungrateful, but I even have doubts. I shouldn't have done that. I'm ashamed. Taking a deep breath, Lu Ziqing waved his sword and slashed. My heart is like iron, indestructible. With a slash of his sword, the illusion was instantly destroyed. He had already crossed the 6th island. Leaping up and turning into a ray of light, Lu Ziqing landed on the 7th island. Boom! The vast and boundless spiritual pressure was like the collapse of the heavens and the earth, as if it was going to crush everything in its path. His heart, which was as strong as iron, seemed to be unable to bear the weight and was about to be crushed by this pressure at any time. It can't last long. The Mount Shu legacy also has the Tao of yin and yang. When his heart was unable to bear the burden, Lu Ziqing was not too nervous. Instead, his heart was calm. My heart is like water, and all living things. No one can compete with me. His heart, which was as strong as iron, instantly turned into a pure heart lake. Even though his heart lake was rippling and sparkling under the immense pressure, it could not shake his foundation. What does it matter to blow up a pool of spring water? Like a cool breeze, even though his heart lake was rippling, the water was not rippling. Lu Ziqing took a step forward and crossed the 7th island in one go. This kid, in the depths of the Sea of Illusion, behind the 21st island, an old man in a golden robe, with black scales all over his body and a pair of horns on his head, opened his eyes for meditation. This person was the manager of the Sea of Illusion, one of the almighties of the human alliance. With a wave of his hand, Lu Ziqing's information appeared in front of the old man in the golden robe. Qinghe, Diqiu bloodline, Qingtian clan. Could he be Qing Mu's son? The old man in the golden robe was shocked. Diqiu's bloodline is indeed extraordinary to have passed the 7th island at the 9th order of the star level. He is from the He Longshan galaxy? Registered identity in the He Longshan? There is no information about his identity in the Mega Galaxy. The old man in the golden robe opened his mouth wide and was shocked. It can't be. There's a Diqiu bloodline wandering outside? Does Qing Mu not know that he has such a son? Haha, Qing Mu, old devil. If I don't take advantage of you, I will be sorry for myself. The old man in the golden robe opened his communication device and laughed weirdly. Qing Mu, old devil, I found your illegitimate son. Get lost. There was a roar from the communication device. Black dragon, old devil, I will skin you alive. Huh? The old man in the golden robe was stunned and reacted instantly. Oh, so Qing Mu's sister-in-law is here too. Cough, cough, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. There is no such thing. There is definitely no such thing. All right, stop fooling around. At this moment, there was a female voice from the communication device. Black dragon, old devil. You were talking about Qing, he right? Tai Chiu has already reported to me. Qing, he's in your He Longshan. Look after him and don't let anything happen to him. Or else, I will skin you alive. Yes, yes. Qing Mu's sister-in-law's orders. I will obey without delay. Damn. As he was talking, Black Dragon, old devil, suddenly screamed. What happened? What happened? Ching Mu, old devil's voice came from the communication device. Nothing big. It's just that. Your Ching, he has passed the 10th island. He passed the 10th island at the star level. His temperament and cultivation are equivalent to the immortal realm. What? He is in the fantasy sea? He passed the 10th island? There was a scream from the communication device. A 9th order of the star level could pass the 10th island of the fantasy sea. Such talent was really rare. Chapter 980. The 11th Island. After landing on this island, Lu Ziqing's heart lake was already boiling. The huge pressure was more than 100 times stronger than before. His mind was like water, and he could no longer resist this pressure. His entire heart lake was boiling under this pressure. The raging tide was surging, but what was surging was his mind. His heart was surging, and what was surging were all distracting thoughts. His heart could no longer be calm. It was as if it would be crushed at any time, as if his soul would be annihilated at any time. Illusions appeared in front of him. The Black Seal King, with a monstrous aura, waved his giant axe with a furious face and chopped down on Lu Ziqing's head. Boom! With one chop of the axe, the sky fell and the earth cracked. It was as if the space was being cut apart, as if the world was being torn apart. With this chop of the axe, the violent force crushed everything in front of it. Planets exploded one by one, and billions of lives were turned into dust. Facing this axe, Lu Ziqing would be annihilated in the blink of an eye. There was great terror between life and death. Survival. This was the instinct of any living creature. At this moment, Lu Ziqing involuntarily raised his foot and stepped back. Just as he lifted his foot, Lu Ziqing's figure paused. He suppressed his survival instincts and raised his head and straightened his chest against the gigantic axe that could annihilate everything with its monstrous might. This is fear. Since obtaining the Shu Mountain inheritance, Lu Ziqing had been cultivating his mind since the beginning of the Purple and Green Treasure Book. Compared to other cultivation methods in this universe, the path of cultivation was already at the forefront. On the path of a swordsman, the sword heart and sword intent were the key. My heart, my mind, my sword. Facing the giant axe, Lu Ziqing closed his eyes. This was not closing his eyes and waiting for death. Instead, it was brewing, accumulating, waiting to erupt. The power of law, psyche power, genetic elemental energy, and even the sword moves, sword aura, and sword formation are all just tools, just means. Everything comes from my heart. My heart is like a sword, cutting through all barriers. A mournful sword howl soared into the sky. Like the morning sun piercing through the darkness, like the morning sun breaking through the sky, it shone brightly and illuminated the world. The mighty sword light was like the scorching sun rising from the east, illuminating the entire world and the entire fantasy sea. His spirit and will condensed into one, transforming into a sword. Cut through all things, cut through all barriers, cut through everything in the world. There was nothing it couldn't cut. There was nothing it could not break. At this moment, Lu Ziqing condensed his own sword intent. This was the will of extermination. It was also the meaning of transcendence. It was a carefree and unrestrained feeling, cutting off all shackles, cutting off all restraints, riding the sword in the air, free and unfettered. Extermination was just a facade. Freedom was the true meaning. As soon as the sword appeared, the illusion shattered. Regardless of whether it was the terror of life and death or the overflowing pressure, they were all cut down with a single slash. Whatever obstacles, ghosts, demons, immortals, deities, Buddhas, and the myriad phenomena of the mortal world, they were all cut down with a single slash of the sword. The road ahead was unobstructed. At this time, Black Dragon was still on the phone. Old monster Black Dragon raised his head in shock when he heard the sword howl and felt the sword intent that could cut through everything. He had already set foot on the 12th island? F***CK. Why is he walking faster and faster? 13 islands, 14 islands. The black dragon old monster was dumbstruck. He cried out, "Heavens! Old man Aoki, your illegitimate son, is actually so powerful." Along the way, he was like a hot knife through butter, cutting through everything, cutting through the shackles of the sword intent, cutting through all obstacles. No matter what illusion, no matter how powerful the enemy was, no matter how strong the spiritual pressure was, they were all cut down with a single slash of the sword. The sea of illusion was the place to cultivate the heart. No matter how terrifying the illusion was, no matter how powerful the pressure was, it all came from the heart. The stronger the heart, the stronger the strength. He was fearless of any obstacles and firmly believed that his sword would cut through all obstacles, cut off all restraints, and cut through all shackles. Under such sword intent, the illusion could no longer shake Lu Ziqing's heart. If the heart did not move, the world would not move. Everything was just a dream. Am I seeing things? He has already stepped out of the sea of illusion. Old man Aoki, your illegitimate son has already stepped out of the sea of illusion. Under the horrified gaze of the black dragon old monster, Lu Ziqing had stepped out of the 21 islands of the sea of illusion and was already in front of him. A level 9 stellar level warrior stepping out of the sea of illusion. This was an unprecedented legend. There's another checkpoint here. The final boss. Killing you should be considered a pass, right? Immersed in the sword intent that could cut through all barriers, everything in front of him was a shackle, a barrier. Lu Ziqing glanced at the black dragon old monster, and the sword intent that could cut through all barriers suddenly erupted. The sword light soared into the sky and slashed down heavily on the black dragon old monster. F***CK. The black dragon old monster hurriedly released a light screen to block the sword. He shouted, "Kid, I'm not the final boss. I'm your uncle, and I'm talking to your dad." This illusion is getting worse and worse. My uncle? Talking to my dad? You want to shake my heart with such words? Lu Ziqing sneered, and a cold glint appeared in his eyes. You shouldn't joke about my parents. Go to hell. With a roar, the sword lights soared into the sky. The green lotus sword formation and the Min River sword formation merged into one, and lotus flowers floated on the mighty river. The sword lights swept out like a tide. F***CK. It's just a mark. Do you have to be so ruthless? The black dragon old monster screamed. Even though he kept blocking, he was drowned by the sword light river. The figure that was left in the illusion sea was only a mark of the black dragon old monster, and he did not leave much power behind. After taking Lu Ziqing's condensed sword intent, how terrifying was its power under the fusion of the green lotus sword formation and the Min River sword formation. Therefore, the black dragon old monster's mark was destroyed by Lu Ziqing, just like that. Ha 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 ha. Black dragon old monster, you made a fool of yourself, right? Not bad, kid. Not bad. The black dragon old monster is a bastard. Next time you see him, continue to slash him ruthlessly. At this moment, there was a burst of laughter all around, and a few figures appeared in the depths of the illusion sea. There were men and women with different appearances. There were a total of 4 people. Old man Qing Mu, your illegitimate son is too ruthless. A black light flashed, and the black dragon old monster's figure appeared again. He looked at Lu Ziqing gloomily. Kid, don't tell anyone. Ha ha ha. Seeing the black dragon old monster's gloomy appearance, the figures laughed again. What is going on? Lu Ziqing looked up and glanced around. He was a little confused about the situation. Qing He, I'm your father. A middle-aged man in a black robe who looked no different from an earthling was talking to Lu Ziqing with a smile. As soon as the words, "I'm your father," came out, Lu Ziqing frowned and was about to explode. Bam! 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 Suddenly, a woman beside the black-robed man swung a big stick and smashed it at the black-robed man. That guy was really trying to beat him to death. "Oh, wife, don't hit me. Don't hit me. Save me some face in front of the child." The black-robed man covered his head and scurried away. So ruthless? Lu Ziqing's eyebrows twitched. The others around also kept quiet out of fear and turned their heads, unable to bear to look. Chapter 981. Bam Bam Bam. After a series of attacks, the black-robed man's figure suddenly exploded. Hee. The beautiful lady who looked like she was in her 30s threw away the big stick in her hand and smiled. Instantly, she became dignified and elegant. Young man, you're Qinghe, right? Come, let me take a good look at you. She had a warm smile on her face, and there was a trace of concern in her eyes. The beautiful woman looked like an amiable elder. But Lu Ziqing could not help but have goosebumps. Wasn't that ruthless stick just now a little too terrifying? What is going on? Although Lu Ziqing had some guesses that this might have something to do with Qing Tian clan, he did not know what was going on with this so-called ant. Cough, cough. With a dry cough, the black-robed man who exploded appeared again. He stood with his hands behind his back, looking extremely charming, as if the one who exploded was not him. Haha, what else is going on? Of course it's an illegitimate son. The black dragon old monster laughed weirdly. Bam! A big stick fell from the sky and sent the black dragon old monster flying. The beautiful lady stood there with a sweet smile, looking dignified and virtuous, as if she had never fought before. Cough, cough, that. Let me explain. The black-robed man coughed and looked awkward. I am Qing Mu, the master of Manka Galaxy, Dichio, the current master of Qing Tian clan. This is my wife, Yu Yin. With that, the black-robed man pointed to the others. You already know the black dragon old monster. He is the Laozu of Black Dragon Mountain. This is the disciple of the founder of Huge Axe, Void Gold Master. The black-robed man pointed to a middle-aged man with golden hair. Young man, the next time you see him, call me uncle. Void Gold Master smiled and nodded at Lu Ziqing. This is the disciple of the Primal Chaos City leader, Venerable Gui Yi. This was a fair-skinned, middle-aged man who was slightly plump. Young man, not bad. The next time you come to Primal Chaos City, Uncle will bring you to see the 3 treasures of Primal Chaos City. Venerable Gui Yi looked at Lu Ziqing with a smile. All right, let's not talk about this anymore. Qing Mu's wife, Yu Yin, glared fiercely at Qing Mu, then turned her head and looked at Lu Ziqing with a smile. Qinghe, I'm your aunt. This shameless old man is your father. The F***CK? What's going on? Lu Ziqing was dumbfounded. What kind of joke was this? Why'd he suddenly get himself a cheap father? My father has been dead for more than 10 years. I don't have the habit of casually acknowledging anyone as my father. Ahem. This matter is a long story. Aoki smiled awkwardly. Why are you squeaking? Just say it. Yu Yin gave another raging growl, then looked at Lu Ziqing with an amiable face and said with a low voice, Qinghe, this old bastard, he has hundreds of thousands of wives in his family. And then he went out to have fun, flirting with women everywhere he went. Those that could be counted were in the millions. I don't even know how many of them there are. Lu Ziqing looked up at Qing Mu. He only felt that he was in awe. Hundreds of thousands of wives in his family. Those that could be counted were in the millions, and those that could not be counted were in the millions. Such a terrifying cedar was unheard of. How strong must his body be to be able to accomplish such a great feat? Isn't there no other way? Qing Mu shook his head helplessly. Qinghe, it's very difficult for Qing Tian clan to awaken the bloodline of Dichio. The probability is very low. I'm the only one who has the bloodline of Dichio. I can only try my best to have more children. So, Lu Ziqing suddenly had a bad feeling. So, he's your father, and you're his son. Yu Yin glared at Qing Mu, then looked at Lu Ziqing with a smile. Qinghe, I'm this old bastard's first wife, which means I'm your aunt. We're family. No, it's not like that. I have parents, although they've been dead for more than 10 years. But I'm really not your son. Don't get it wrong. Lu Ziqing naturally knew that this was caused by the bloodline of Dichio, but there was no way to explain it. Cough, cough. Qing Mu was embarrassed. You're definitely my son. You have the bloodline of Dichio, and only I have the same bloodline as you in this world. As for your parents, why don't you just say that you abandoned me back then? What's there to explain? Yu Yin kicked Qingmu away. Qinghe, don't bother about him. If you're happy to call him father, just do it. If you're not happy, just ignore him. Yu Yin smiled at Lu Ziqing. Qinghe, do whatever you want, don't bother about him. Could there be a mistake? The bloodline of Dichio. Wouldn't there be other Manka people who awakened this bloodline by themselves? Lu Ziqing was very annoyed. He had become someone else's son out of nowhere, and even had a father. What was going on? No problem. Just take it as the bloodline of Dichio that awakened on its own. Don't bother about that old bastard. Yu Yin nodded with satisfaction. Qingmu's face was bitter. He opened his mouth, but did not know what to say. He could only sigh helplessly. Right. Qinghe, what's your plan now? Do you want to come home? Yu Yin looked at Lu Ziqing and pointed at Void Gold Master, Gue E Knight, and Black Dragon Old Monster. Or, you can go to your uncle's to cultivate. I plan to train for a period of time. Lu Ziqing always felt that this inexplicable father and son relationship was too awkward. Training is good. It's useful to walk around and increase your knowledge. We Manka people are very particular about training. It's good for your growth. Qingmu nodded. However, I can only give you 100 years. After 100 years, you'll have to return to Dichio. All right. It's not convenient for the virtual universe to give you anything. After we exit the virtual universe, we'll come and find you. Yu Yin waved his hand. Qinghe, see you later. We'll take our leave too. Qinghe, remember to come and play at Uncle's place. After saying their goodbyes, everyone exited the virtual universe. What's all this about? After exiting the virtual universe, Lu Ziqing was depressed. He had become someone's son for no reason. No matter how he looked at it, it was awkward. Kid, your parents died early. It's a good thing that someone cares about you and takes care of you. Don't think too much about it. Just treat it as having a godfather. A Pinnacle Universe Knight is only a step away from becoming a Universe Master. It's not an insult to be your godfather. Purple Gold Gourd smiled and comforted him. Whether I admit it or not, in other people's eyes, I'm still Qingmu Knight's son. Lu Ziqing smiled bitterly and shook his head. This matter, from the perspective of benefits, it couldn't be better. Whether it was training resources or techniques, as long as he wanted them, there would be an endless supply. I can't get rid of this relationship. I can only do this. Chapter 982. Wang. There was a sudden rumble in the room. As the space shook, two silhouettes appeared in the room. Qinghe, we're here. Qingmu and Yu Yin stood before Lu Ziqing with smiles on their faces. You two arrived so quickly? Lu Ziqing was stunned. In the blink of an eye, from the distant universe, they crossed the endless space and appeared before him. Wasn't this too terrifying? When we were in Fantasy Ocean, we left a mark on your body. Through God countries, we can instantly arrive at any place with a mark. Greenwood nodded with a smile. We're Universe Knights, after all. We can do that. Mark? Senior Purple Gold, this. Lu Ziqing was shocked. He was mysteriously marked. If it was an enemy, what should he do? Leaving their mark is beneficial to you. I didn't remove it. If they had ill intentions, why would they have left it until now? So it's like that. Lu Ziqing let out a sigh of relief. If the enemy could leave a mark and teleport to him at any time, then he wouldn't be able to survive. It would be a dead end. This broken place. Yu Yin looked up and scanned the luxurious room in Dragonstar Hotel, frowning. Can people live in this broken place? Qinghe, let's go. I'll find another place for you. Without waiting for an explanation, Yu Yin pulled Lu Ziqing's hand and turned to leave the room. Qinghe, I see that you like Dragonstar quite a bit. As they walked out of the hotel, Yu Yin looked up at the colorful clouds of Dragonstar, smiling and nodding. Even though this place is a bit broken down, the scenery is not bad. Qinghe, this Dragonstar, I've already gotten it from the Black Dragon Old Monster. Now it's yours. Huh? Lu Ziqing was stunned. With my current identity, I've only stayed on Dragonstar for 2 days, right? That's liking? Just like that, the entire planet was sent over. Then if I look at any of the beauties, there really is one? Just as he thought about it, Lu Ziqing was shocked to discover that the cat-eared young lady who helped him register his identity was actually dressed up and waiting in the hotel lobby. Greetings, Your Majesty. The cat-eared girl, whose face was filled with surprise and shyness, happily saluted Lu Ziqing. Just now, under the shocked and envious gazes of countless colleagues in the office building, this young cat-human girl named Lan Yu was brought to the hotel lobby. At that time, it would have been great if I had been the one to handle His Highness' identity. Her colleagues, especially the younger female colleagues, were filled with regret and hatred at this moment. They gritted their teeth so hard that they almost broke. Even she came here. All he did was take a look at her when he was applying for her identity. Did he have to be so ruthless to send her to him? Lu Ziqing was dumbfounded. Your bloodline is special. You have to have more children in the future. Qingmu clasped his hands behind his back and smiled. Then, Yu Yin gave him a heavy kick. Qinghe, this Horned Dragon Star is still a bit shabby. If not, I'll let the Black Dragon Old Devil give you the entire Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Anyway, he doesn't care about this place anymore. As Yu Yin spoke, he pulled Lu Ziqing out of the hotel. The Black Dragon Mountain Empire was given to me. Well, Lu Ziqing didn't know what to say. Greetings, Your Highness. Just as he walked out of the hotel, he saw a black mass of people kneeling in front of him. Horned Dragon Star was already Lu Ziqing's. At this moment, all the managers of the various organizations on Horned Dragon Star had all gathered at the entrance of the hotel to greet their new master. Rise! Although it was his first time seeing such a scene, but Lu Ziqing, who had my heart is like a sword, naturally wouldn't have any stage fright. Thank you, Your Highness. After everyone bowed, they stood up once again. Horned Dragon Star's affairs will be handled according to the original plan for now. When I need to make some adjustments, I will inform you. You can leave first. Lu Ziqing didn't know how to manage a planet, and didn't have the mood to manage a planet. He just casually dismissed these subordinates. Yes, the various leaders had wanted to flatter their new master, but after hearing this, they could only bow and leave. Such a calm and unruffled manner. My son was born to be a leader. Qingmu nodded his head in satisfaction. Qinghe, here on Horned Dragon Star, we have prepared a place for you to stay. Time is short, and it's a little crude. Just make do with it for now. After 2 days, I will get you a better one. A row of luxurious and exquisite flying cars stopped outside the hotel. Yu Yin brought Lu Ziqing onto one of the flying cars. Let's go take a look at the house first. The flying car rose into the air and flew towards the beach outside Horned Dragon City. Southeast of Horned Dragon City, there was a vast beach. Originally, this was the villa district of countless rich people. Now, other than a huge palace, there were no other buildings here. This was a huge palace. Although it was called a palace, it was actually more like a city. The entire palace complex stretched from the shore to the sea, and even encircled many of the nearby islands. The huge palace complex covered an area of over 1 million square kilometers. Beautiful and magnificent buildings of various colors, all kinds of exotic flowers and plants were in full bloom. It was a beautiful sight to behold. The fleet of cars stopped at the plaza outside the palace. At this moment, everyone in the palace was lined up in the plaza outside the palace, waiting for the arrival of the group. Greetings, Your Highness. When Lu Ziqing stepped out of the flying car, a large group of people knelt down in front of Lu Ziqing. What was shocking was this large group of people, over 100,000 of them, were all women. Other than the Manka people who mostly looked the same as humans on Earth, there were also beauties from various races. Over 100,000 beauties. Rise! Lu Ziqing was speechless. He could only wave his hand, indicating for everyone to rise. Thank you, Your Highness. Over 100,000 beauties thanked him. Their soft voices were like melodious wind chimes, crisp and pleasant to the ear. Other than the maids, the rest are your guards. 100,000 sector, lord-level guards, 100 undying guard captains, and an undying king-level commander. Yu glanced at Lu Ziqing and said smilingly, I only chose these people in a hurry. I will pick better ones for you in the future. Lu Ziqing was speechless. 100,000 sector lords, 100 undying, and an undying king. Were these still guards? This was already an army, right? Not to mention, they were all beauties. Are you guys trying to use me as a cedar? You guys can leave. Lu Ziqing waved his hand, and these maids and beauty guards were all dismissed. Qinghe, come, let me introduce you. At this moment, another 10 beauties walked out from the row of flying cars. These beauties were actually all undying. This is your maid manager Lanling. This is your guard Captain Chiue. Yu pointed at a blue-haired woman and a silver-haired woman and introduced them to Lu Ziqing. The rest are all your guard captains. Greetings, your highness. The group of beauties bowed down to Lu Ziqing. All right, at this moment, Lu Ziqing already had 100,000 beauties in his harem. 3,000 beauties in his harem, grinding iron rods into embroidery needles. What was the result of 100,000 harem? Chapter 983. I have asked Lanling to collect the resources you need for cultivation. Yu brought Lu Ziqing into the palace and sat down in a hall. You can only rely on yourself in the path of cultivation. What we can provide are external resources. Although they are helpful to you, they are not essential. Do you understand? I understand. Lu Ziqing nodded his head. Resources were indispensable and could effectively increase the speed of cultivation. However, the most important thing was still oneself. Lu Ziqing had fully understood this from the purple golden gourd. It's good that you understand. Yu smiled and nodded his head. He then turned his head to look at Qing Mu. It's your turn. Ahem. Qing Mu coughed a few times as if to say, I have been a bystander for a long time. Is it finally my turn? A man who had a lot of harems, but no status in the family, was really miserable. Qinghe, your first aunt has already prepared everything for you. Father, ahem, I only have one thing for you. That is the cultivation method. Qing Mu pointed his finger at Lu Ziqing's forehead. A light flashed, and countless information was transmitted to Lu Ziqing's spirit. Greenwood Celestial Technique. This is my lifetime of cultivation achievement and the foundation of the bloodline of Dichio. After transmitting the information to Lu Ziqing's spirit, Qing Mu retracted his finger. Phew! Endless information poured into his mind. Although the amount was huge, it was like a trickle and did not cause any impact on Lu Ziqing. As he slowly released the information of the cultivation method, the shadow of a giant tree appeared in his mind. The branches were knotted and the leaves were swaying. There were endless leaves falling all the time. Every leaf that fell seemed to be demonstrating a peerless swordsmanship. Every swaying branch seemed to be demonstrating a punching and kicking divine art. The entire giant tree was a peerless body-forging technique. Of course, Lu Ziqing only saw a little bit of it. There were more profound laws and true meanings contained in it. The Greenwood Celestial Technique has some merits. The purple golden gourd smiled. Young man, the purple green treasure book contains all the laws in this world. It can also drive the Greenwood Celestial Technique. You can also practice this technique. That's good. When Lu Ziqing received this cultivation technique, he was a little troubled. Now that the Greenwood Muddy Heaven technique could also be activated by the Azulite Treasure Tome, there would be no problem. The Greenwood Muddy Heaven technique is indeed profound and unfathomable. Opening his eyes, Lu Ziqing exclaimed in admiration. Aoki's face was glowing. It was as if Lu Ziqing's casual praise had made him so happy that he couldn't find his bearings. Obviously, Qing Mu and Yu really treated Lu Ziqing as their own son. Well, it should be said that he treated him like his own son. The cedar Qing Mu had given birth to countless children, but none of them had awakened the bloodline of Dichio. Now that Lu Ziqing had appeared, this Qing he was, in Greenwood's opinion, the true inheritor of his bloodline. From the bloodline of Dichio, this was his real son. Unfortunately, I'm really not your son. Lu Ziqing sighed inwardly. Qinghe, if you go to Primal Chaos City, you'll be able to see the Primal Chaos tablet I left there. Qing Mu happily showed off in front of his son. Primal Chaos City has 52 Primal Chaos tablets. That tablet with a huge tree engraved on it was left by me. Qing Mu Primal Chaos Tablet. Primal Chaos City's 52 Primal Chaos tablets. Those were all left behind by the pinnacle of the human alliance. Of course, the inheritance on the tablet is definitely not as complete as the one I gave you. Thank you. Lu Ziqing thanked him seriously. He had his own parents. He couldn't really call someone else his father. Qing Mu and Yu Yin treated him well. He remembered it in his heart. However, when it came to his parents, he couldn't do anything about it. We're family. No need to be so polite. Qing Mu and Yu Yin both knew that this child was still very unfamiliar with them. Relationships weren't formed in a day. They had to take it slow. After a few days on Horn Dragon Star, they had already told them everything. Qing Mu and Yu Yin then took their leave. At this time, Luo Feng, Thunder God, and Hong, after a long flight, finally reached Horn Dragon Star. What? It's not called Horn Dragon Star anymore. It's called Qinghe Star. Just as they walked out of the ship, Luo Feng saw the huge sign of the spaceport. It had actually changed to Qinghe Star and immediately shouted out in shock. A few days ago, an important person came, saying that he liked the scenery of Horn Dragon Star. The Black Dragon Mountain Empire then gave this planet to that important person. The staff of the port explained to Luo Feng. But why is it called Qinghe Star? Luo Feng and the other two exchanged glances. Qing, he wasn't that Lu Ziqing's new identity? Could this Qinghe Star be related to Lu Ziqing? This, we're not too sure. Who knows what the important person is thinking? The staff of the port shrugged his shoulders and turned to leave. Let's go to Horn Dragon City to take a look first. After parking the ship, Luo Feng and the other two walked out of the port and rushed towards Horn Dragon City. Before he entered the city, he saw a group of well-dressed big shots walking out of the city, sighing and groaning all the way. This is really 8 lifetimes of bad luck. I was living well in Black Reef Bay, but with one word from someone, I had to move. A black-clothed youth shook his head gloomily. Isn't it the same for me? My villa on Blue Ice Island. Wasn't it flattened with one word from someone? The other slightly plump middle-aged man also sighed sorrowfully. Don't talk about it. That person's background. Is it something we can talk about? Watch your mouth. Don't cause trouble for the family. An older man beside him scolded harshly. Hearing this, there was complete silence. The group of important people lowered their heads and didn't speak, hurriedly leaving Horn Dragon City. It seems that new important person has offended quite a few people. Hearing these people's discussions, Luo Feng and the other two were shocked. With Lu Ziqing's identity, it was easy to scare off a small family from a low-level universe country. However, offending so many important people and making them unable to say anything, this wasn't something Lu Ziqing could do. Let's not care so much. Let's go register our identities first, then enter the virtual universe, engage in virtual battles, and see the people in the universe. Hong and Thunder God were both battle fanatics. What they loved the most was the virtual universe's battle arena. Then let's go register our identities first. Luo Feng had already registered once. He was familiar with the route and rushed to the administration building, heading towards the registration office. DDD. Hong and Thunder God had just scanned their faces, entering their bloodline and soul information, when the information terminal suddenly rang with an alarm. What's going on? Hong and Thunder God were shocked, not knowing what was going on. Your Majesty? 2 more Majesties? Everyone in the registration office jumped up in shock, especially the young and pretty girls, their eyes glowing as they stared at the 3 surrounding them. Your Majesty, do you need anything? Your Majesty, are you tired? Let me help you massage your shoulders. A group of girls gathered around him and chattered nonstop. They even touched him. The 3 of them from Earth were completely stunned. Why were they so enthusiastic about registering for an alien planet. Did we go to the wrong place? Could this be an alien planet's brothel? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.